Fox 5 News at 4 o'clock. Stay tuned for Portia. She's coming your way right now. See you tomorrow, everyone.
As the weather changes, folks start craving a change in scenery, a cabin in the winter, a beach in the summer. Sometimes just want to get a few extra stamps on the passports. But if we're being honest, the rising cost of life's basic necessities has a lot of us pressing pause on that next vacation, right? But that's why we brought in travel expert Shakima Smith. She says you can book flights for just a few bucks if you play your cards right, literally. So let's talk about those $5 flights today on Portia. Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, everyone wants to go on vacation, but not everyone can pay top dollar for those boarding passes. And travel expert Shakima Smith is here to tell us how she's visited, get this, more than 90 countries, some for just $5. Seriously, it's the reason she calls herself the passport abuser. And I love it because you are seeing the world and not spending a lot of money doing it. Ended up just sitting out and seeing the world. What made you want to be a world traveler, especially?
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Local. I'm Jasmyn Cornell. We're streaming here on social media as well. That's Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and several other platforms. So feel free to weigh into this news conversation. It's a little bit different from your traditional broadcast. But we have a lot of stories to get to this afternoon, including breaking news here just into our newsroom out of Douglasville. Fox 5 crews are on the scene of a possible SWAT situation on Marilla Street in that area. Our Matt Stringer is at the scene. Matt, I don't see you there just yet, but if you can hear me, I'm curious to know, what have authorities confirmed so far since you've been there?
Yes, well, they're wrapped up, almost completely wrapped up now. The large SWAT type vehicle just passed about 2 minutes ago. Basically, I arrived here about 12:15, and soon after, maybe 5 or 10 minutes after that, as soon as I got set up, I heard this loud bang, and then maybe 10 or 15 minutes after that, we were doing a live picture of the scene, and during the live picture, they brought a gentleman in handcuffs across the street. And shortly after that, I spoke with Major Trent Wilson with the Douglas County Sheriff's Department, and he was telling me that they were called out to a domestic situation, and when they arrived, there was a gentleman in the house with a hammer, and that's when, and he wouldn't come out, so he's barricading himself in the house, and so they called back up, and that's when they activated their CERT team, which is kind of like, it's what they call their SWAT team, and they showed up, and everybody's walking away safe and sound on this one. I believe we have some sound from Major Trent Wilson.
So we received a call in reference to a domestic. When we arrived, seeing our deputies made contact with the family, at which time, when the family was giving information to the deputy, one of the young men in the home that we was out here for produced a hammer and then barricaded himself in the basement. But once he barricaded himself in the basement, we tried to make contact with him. We was able to talk with him sometimes, then he would not talk to us, and so that way we went on and activated our CERT team and let the CERT team come out and start the negotiation, and eventually they was able to get the barricaded young man to come out the house.
Yeah, that's Major Wilson. He also told me that while they were doing the negotiation, officers were able to get the family members out of the house safely. So it was just negotiations between the suspect and law enforcement. And I asked him about, the loud bang I heard, and he said they used a chemical agent. And that shortly after that was when he came out. So I would say that was probably encouraging him to come outside. But saw shortly after the bang, or actually shortly before they brought the suspect out. Saw a couple officers coming out and then removing their gas masks. So that's when thought maybe it might be tear gas or whatever stuff they use today. No telling. But that's what happened, and it was the major said it went by the book. Their training, kicks in and pays off, and no incident, no injuries, and everybody's going home safe tonight.
Glad to hear, Matt, that everyone's going home safe, no incident, no injuries, like you just said. Did officials describe the relationship between the suspect and the victim?
They didn't describe the relationship. Basically, they would really only call it was a domestic. They were called for a domestic. So I believe someone called. I'm not sure if it was a suspect or someone else in the house, but he did say when officers arrived that the officers did hear people screaming inside the house. That's when they approached the house. I guess came in contact with the suspect. He grabbed a hammer or was holding a hammer and was starting to barricade the doors, and that's when they called for backup, called for the CERT team, and I believe, I'm not sure, he didn't really give you the details, but somewhere in that time frame, the family was able to get out. Not sure if they got out before the cavalry, so to speak, arrived, but there was a large presence here. There was, I want to say, there's a huge CERT command center vehicle. They had I believe it's called a Bearcat. It's kind of like an armored vehicle, something similar to that, if that's not what it's called. But that's where they were mounted up, with a shield on top, and you had guys in their the green armor, SWAT armor, and there was maybe I would say at least 20, maybe more sheriff vehicles or law enforcement vehicles total. But I believe all I saw was the Douglas County Sheriff's Department. I don't believe I saw any other agencies, so I think they handled this one on their own, from what I can see. But yeah, it looks like it was a quiet neighborhood, and I guess it's about to become that in probably the next 2 to 3 cars leave. So.
And one last question for you, Matt, before we let you go here. What are police asking for the nearby residents to do? Are they being asked to avoid this area or anything like that?
No, they've actually opened up they've opened the street now, so everything's free to go. There's been some neighbors that have been, kind of wondering what's going on, like kind of staying out in their lawns, and everybody's been just staying on their property and letting them do their law enforcement work. And I don't want to put words in the major's mouth, but I'm sure he would just say, if you see something, say something. If you hear anything, call, because you don't know what would have happened inside that home if the police did not show up. So, but yeah, it looks like the neighborhood's going to be going back to normal. Seems like a nice neighborhood, so I'm sure this doesn't happen a lot.
All right, Matt, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this situation, this breaking situation. We'll let you get back to work out there. Thanks. Let's move forward and talk about what Fox 5 is working on today. These are the stories that you can expect to see on our newscast and also here on Fox Local. We're going to bring in our managing editor, Cal Calloway, and he has a look at those stories. And this big one, this first one we're going to talk about, Cal, is really stirring some controversy here.
It is. Good afternoon, Jasmine. And it is a political controversy over a photograph involving a political candidate. Now, let me see if I can set it up for you. The Republican nominee for governor here in Georgia, Rick Jackson, several days ago went and had lunch at a restaurant here in Atlanta that's owned by an African-American couple. After he did so, the Jackson campaign posted a photograph of the candidate standing next to one of those owners. And it's that photograph that's really sparked a major political debate. People who are opposed to Mr. Jackson and who are, I think, are probably supporting Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms, saying that restaurant should not have hosted Mr. Jackson. And they've called for a boycott of the restaurant. There are other people, though, that see the situation completely differently. They say it's fine for any business to have any candidate come in and talk to them. And they saying that this family, this restaurant, should not be the subject of a boycott. With that whole social media debate, both campaigns have now weighed in. Our Annie Mapp is on that story, and she'll have the story for us tonight at 4, 5, and 6. In Stockbridge, there's a different kind of political situation. This involves action taken by the city council against the mayor. The mayor is Jaden Williams. On Friday, the city council announced they have suspended the mayor's some of his rights, including his ability to use a purchasing card, a fuel card, and city-owned vehicles. They say this was done after an authorized independent investigation. Now, Mayor Williams has been a historical figure to a degree. He was elected to office last November. He is the city's youngest mayor at 22 years old. Our Kevin Stewart's looking at that issue for us this afternoon. And finally, and I'll say somewhat sadly, the FIFA World Cup is now something of the past. The final match obviously was played in New York, New Jersey yesterday. Here in Atlanta, we celebrated the final match with a watch party, a massive watch party at Piedmont Park. This morning, we talked to Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, who calls the event here in Atlanta definitely a success for the city and the state of Georgia, and it proves that our city and our state can handle international events. We're getting some statistics to show the magnitude of the number of visitors. For example, Martha says over the 35 days that the World Cup was here in Atlanta, they moved 4.7 million passengers. And that's with World Cup events and other major events such as the Peachtree Road Race. Our Deidre Dukes talked to the mayor this morning. We'll hear from the mayor tonight, again at 4, 5, and 6. So, Jasmine, those are just some of the stories we're working on, and we'll have a lot more as well.
Cal, sounds good. I know we're looking forward to all of those stories, especially the one from the Atlanta mayor. Hundreds of thousands of people came here to the city of Atlanta to celebrate soccer and culture. So definitely looking forward to some good news coming from the mayor. And then have a question for you about the restaurant visit with the Georgia governor. I'm curious to know if that restaurant has spoke about this situation. Do we have any information on that?
Well, Annie has spoken to one of the restaurant owners earlier today, and she's hoping to talk to them on camera this afternoon. We know they have posted something after the social media outcry started where they are indicating that they have not endorsed Mr. Jackson in his run for governor. But again, the whole debate here is that photograph an implied endorsement? Should the photograph have been taken? There are certainly two sides to this story. We're going to hear from both sides tonight.
Thanks so much for joining us to talk about what Fox 5 is working on. We'll let you get back to work there. Our time is 1:13 here on Fox Local. When we return, we'll take a look at the World Cup and bring in Fox's Ashley Dvorkin for a recap. Welcome back to our news conversation here on Fox Local. Let's talk the World Cup. So there's now officially another World Cup in the books, and this one was historic. Spain beating Argentina, taking the crown, and it went down right outside of New York City. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin was there for all the action. Ashley, thanks so much for joining us to talk the World Cup. We're excited to see you. I know you've been working the World Cup, and you've been able to see celebrities, highlights, and all of that.
Thank you. Hi, Jasmine. I know. And you've joined me for so much of this journey. I've gotten a chance to join you on the show, and I can't believe that it's all coming to an end now with this 1-0 victory, Spain versus Argentina. I was there. I was at New York, New Jersey Stadium, part of those 80,000 fans watching this final moment of the biggest World Cup ever. And it was very exciting to be in there, to feel the energy, and to watch that halftime show, Jasmine.
I do want to get to the halftime show. I did watch it from home, but let's start with the match. Yes, I was at home watching it.
Of course.
Yes, and let's start with the match highlights and then talk about the halftime show.
So it was quite a match, and I keep saying edge of your seat because it was edge of your seat. You were waiting for that goal, a first goal, and then they go into the extra time, and then finally, when that goal happened, I will tell you from my perspective what it was like, because we had a lot of Argentina fans in our section, and there was definitely a mood shift then. Saw the Spain fans, also they were celebrating, so it was very interesting to be in the middle of that as it was happening. Argentina fans still singing, cheering, hoping their team would come back from there, but there we are. Now we have the new World Cup winner, second World Cup win for Spain ever. Jasmine?
And this is so awesome for the team. Like you said, you were sitting in the Argentina fan section, so I can imagine being there for that mood shift.
There were a lot.
Yes, and so
there were a lot around us, but they were fun.
They were fun. Well, that's good to hear. Okay, so let's talk about the halftime show. We saw Shakira, Justin Bieber, and much more.
We did. So that 11-minute halftime show, and it didn't count for the setup and the breakdown of the production, which the production was so beautiful and big. They rolled out this colorful tarp to start it out, and then Shakira, Burna Boy, and the adorable kids that were dancing with them. That was such a highlight for me when they were performing Die Die. BTS also keeping up the energy. I know that there have been mixed reviews of the halftime show, so I'll get into some of that criticism because I saw it myself too. So Madonna, icon, wanted to see her more. In the beginning, we were eyeing the pitch, and I kept trying to find her where she was. So it was kind of like this beginning where she was in the tunnel and then came out onto the pitch very briefly. And then Justin Bieber, the song choice, it did slow it down because it was high energy, lots of dancing. So I do understand that feedback. And I also want to mention the Muppets because I loved seeing the Muppets. I thought that was so much fun. Yes, I mean, talk about star power.
Right.
It was a really fun time overall, and they gave us these colorful flags for us to wave, you know, to join in at the end. And I felt like the end with the fireworks and the tarp and everybody dancing. That was my favorite moment. I just loved that moment and how it looked. Jasmine.
Ashley, it's been great talking to you about the World Cup. So thanks so much for giving us the highlights, the mixed reviews, talking about the halftime show and also the match. We know we have to let you go now, so I'll let you go. Thanks again for joining us, Ashley. And so, guys,
of course, thank you.
Yes, Ashley, thank you. And so let's talk about weather and this local woman here taking to TikTok. She warned everyone to keep an umbrella on hand because rain in Atlanta, she says, seemed to go hand in hand right now. Take a listen.
If you're really from Atlanta, you would know that the chance of rain is 100%. Like in the summertime, the chance of rain is literally 100% every day. At least that's the mentality you have to have if you don't want to get rained on. Like, I'm so confused as to why y'all are confused. Like, it has rained every day of the summer, every day of my life, and I'll be 34 this year. Climate change or not, we don't get all this greenery for nothing. So when people come on here and talk about, oh my God, the meteorologists suck, and let me tell you, if you're an Atlanta meteorologist, get behind me. Get behind me, okay? It doesn't matter what the forecast says. I've got an umbrella with me at all times. It's that simple. It's raining right now. And the forecast 1 hour ago said that there was a 10% chance at 8 p.m. it is 3:22. And this is nothing new. I worked at a summer camp that had a heavy emphasis on outside activities, okay? And nearly every day something was cut short because we had to come inside because of rain. Every summer activity has an in case of rain plan. I just like, I don't know what's so confusing about this to y'all, okay? Just pack that umbrella because you're probably gonna need it. And it's probably gonna rain in the afternoon. That's another thing. If it's gonna rain, it's probably gonna rain in the afternoon. These are things you.
All right. Well, you know, we heard her there. We get the point. And she's telling us that it's been raining all day, every day, her whole life.
Oh, it's sunny outside right now. So I get what she's saying, right? What she's getting at is that the weather app says that there's a chance of rain, and then there's not a chance of rain. And then you look at the hourly stuff. There's a difference between the weather app and what we show on TV. So your weather app is a computer algorithm, essentially geofenced to your location. What we show you on TV is for the area, right? We cover from Fannin County down to Upson County, Cleburne County, Alabama, over to Greene County. So it's a fairly large area. And when we show you rain chance on TV, it's the chance of what the area sees through the day. Right. So look, like I said, I get what she's saying, but it has not rained every day of summer in my life, and I've lived in Atlanta my entire life, so that's what we've got going for us. Now, I suspect she's not going to see much in the way of rain today. We've got one lone storm out there, which when you look at today compared to the last several days, usually by this point, you got a lot going on out there. Now, not so much. Let's check it out. 88 in Atlanta, 88 in Canton, 87 in Gainesville. There's your one storm up there in Fannin County. It's going to be just to the northwest of Blue Ridge right now, close to that county line at this hour. So through the remainder of the afternoon, temperatures getting into the 80s and 90s. I mean, we're in the 80s now, getting into the 90s with heat index values upper 90s to low 100s, mostly clear to partly cloudy skies with only about a 10 to 20% chance of a scattered shower. Here's how it looks on the hour by hour, right? If you are one of the lucky few, you might get a heavy downpour. Other than that, I expect most people to be dry. Into tomorrow, we'll do something similar. There's the afternoon, couple of sprinkles, and that is about it. Let's talk about Tropical Depression 2. We are going to get a new advisory here at the top of the hour, but winds right now at 35. Once it reaches 40 miles an hour, it will become our next named storm. It will gain the name Bertha. But do notice we are getting some tropical downpours right now along the Florida coast and even in southern Georgia. This is tied to Tropical Depression 2, what's going on down near Bainbridge over towards Thomasville at this hour. That is the northern extent, but notice the southern extent goes down almost all the way to Cuba and Cancun, so it's a lopsided system. In the hours to come, like I said, expect it to become a tropical storm, and it will bring some strong winds there along the coastline before making landfall likely in Louisiana, but landfall, of course, could happen anywhere in that cone area. Tropical storm watches from New Orleans over to Apalachicola. Not looking for this to come up towards northern Georgia. Flooding will be the biggest threat down along the coastline, and then the interaction with the coastline, that's really going to determine what happens in Texas here in the days to come. So 10% chance of rain today and tomorrow. Look at Wednesday, brought that up to 60%. High temperatures back down into the 80s Thursday and beyond, but not by much, right? Still getting into the upper 80s with heat index values in the 90s.
All right. Sounds good, Alex. Thanks so much for joining us to talk weather. Before you go, I do want to ask you about drought conditions. Yep. I know that some new numbers have come out, right?
Yeah, so the new measurements are going to be taken tomorrow. Okay. And then we'll get an update on Thursday. But I can pull up the drought map real quick because I had somebody ask me about that earlier, right? Atlanta has seen improvements, some significant improvements, but where we still have severe drought, Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and the northern reaches of Lake Lanier. Now, the Lanier Basin extends up and towards northeast Georgia, kind of like in this area. So that's why Lanier is still down, is because the water that feeds it, there it is, a live picture there, is still in severe drought. I use those two, or what are supposed to be two islands right there as a gauge. You can see that little strip of land between them. You're not supposed to be able to see that. That is supposed to be covered up in water.
Wow. Okay. Well, Alex, thanks so much for sharing information on that and putting that into perspective for us. Guys, let's talk about this exciting accomplishment for the Walton County 4-H BB team. So they have ultimate bragging rights here. They just won the only BB gun championship in the world, and they even set a record. So our Eli Jordan has been able to speak with them and see some of their, see a little bit of their accomplishments. Eli, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this, and congratulations to this team here.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, yeah. The Walton County 4-H BB team, they won it all. They're pretty good. They're real good. It's an all-girls team too. They went to Rogers, Arkansas, which is also the headquarters of Daisy BB guns. And so they went there for the competition, played against 51 other teams, and they won it all. And I am actually at the Walton County 4-H facility, and I am with a head coach of the BB team, Adam Harper, and I am with Violet Combs, who's also part of it. And there's Aubrey over there shooting. She's part of the team. So, Coach Adam, tell me, you got to be really proud of your team here.
Yes, sir. We're extremely proud of these girls. They put in a lot of hard work. We start back in January, so 2 nights a week and almost every Saturday. I can't tell you the hundreds of hours that these kids and their parents have also put into making this program as successful as it has been.
So, Violet, let me ask you, are you surprised about being considered the best BB gun shooter in the country, according to Daisy?
Well, yeah, but also we've put a lot of work into it, so it kind of like comes along with it, I feel like.
So tell me, we got Aubrey here shooting. There's 4 different positions to shoot from, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so tell me, what kind of positions do we have? So right now she's shooting from the standing position.
Right now, Aubrey's shooting from standing, but we also shoot from prone, sitting, and kneeling too. It's a 4-part competition, and they have to score a top score. It's a 400 total, so you can score 100 points in each position. And we also have a coach over here. Then they have someone that can load up the gun, right? Yes, sir. So this is actually Aubrey's mother, Lindsay. So at our with our team, the parent is on the line with the coach. So the parent will load the gun, will help them watch their sighters and see where they need to be adjusted as far as sighting the gun in and everything like that. But most of all, just help keep them calm on the line and relaxed.
And it's really key, I think, because having a familiar person on the line with you, they know your weaknesses, they know your strengths, and they know how to keep you calm. And that's a key thing, I believe.
Yes, sir. That's
really good teamwork, smart teamwork.
That's a huge asset to us as the parents really buy into this program that we have here at Walton. And I don't know if there's many other teams across the country really that the parents buy in as much as our parents do.
And they bought in enough to bring this trophy home. And this isn't the first time you brought the trophy home, is it?
No, sir. This is actually the 3rd time that we've brought the golden gun home from Daisy.
And you got room for more plaques there. Eventually you get this year's plaque. It hasn't come in from Daisy yet, correct?
Yes, sir. Well, Daisy will send us our plaque for this year, and then there's spots on that particular trophy for 2 more. So
hopefully you'll get it. And I want to check out these. These are the targets you guys actually shoot. I mean, every one of these that that stack right over there, every one of these is right in the bullseye. I mean, I don't think I could do that at all.
Yes, sir. These kids, I know I can't do it because I've tried. But
that's insane.
These kids spend hours and hours practicing, not only here, but a lot of them shoot at home and are really dedicated to making sure they can hit that 10.
And so, I mean, do these, Violet, do you go on to shoot next year, or do you shoot for many years, or is it just a one and done? Or tell me about that.
So this is actually my 6th year shooting, and will be my last because I retire. But I will be heading to air rifle.
So you've done this for 6 years. Is this the best you've done so far?
Yes.
Top. And then speaking of topping out, Adam Harper, Coach, this is your last year to be coach, and you've been doing this for a while, haven't you?
Yes, sir. So this is my 10th year as far as being on the line with my son, and then in 2021 I was asked to be an assistant coach here for the whole team. So it's been a great opportunity, and while I am going to retire because I've got some other things going on, I will always come back and help with all these kids at the practice and whatever else they need.
It's a heck of a way to retire, going out on top with your team, winning it all over in Rogers, Arkansas against 52 other teams across the country. And it's something to hang your hat on, too. I mean, something for everybody here to hang their hat on.
Yes, sir. The whole county is really proud of this team. And I even have, we become one big family here, and I've even had parents that are retired, I don't know, 10 years ago that still send me text messages congratulating us and keep up with us. So it's a real family event here.
Well, congratulations to all you guys on the Walton Fort HBB team, and keep it up. I mean, it looks like you guys have a great facility here to practice in, and you guys are making a name for yourself for sure. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And Jasmyn, that's what's been going on here. We got the team back there shooting and showing us what's going on, and they won it all. And we got Violet there, who is like the best shooter in the country. And so that's what's happening here in Walton. They got to be very proud of themselves here at the 4-H facility and the 4-H club here at Walton County. Back to you.
Wow, Eli, what an incredible accomplishment there. Congratulations to the Walton County 4-H BB team. Thanks so much for joining us to talk about this. We'll see you later, Eli. Our time here is 1:30. When we return on Fox Local, we will take a look at a special parade happening to celebrate Spain soccer players. Welcome back here to our news conversation here on Fox Local, where we're also streaming on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us, and feel free to weigh into this conversation. I want to give you a live look at what's happening out in Spain, and you can hear the noise loud and clearly here. You see the sea of red and white there. Soccer fans celebrating Spain's win against Argentina 1-0. And so a parade, we believe the parade to celebrate them is already underway. Can't quite see just yet if it has started, but it was supposed to start around 7 their time. But again, this is all to celebrate Spain's soccer win, their historic win against Argentina. I mean, they walked off with the trophy, and we've been seeing just soccer fans erupting with excitement. So congratulations, to all the soccer players out at the World Cup who participated, all the soccer fans. I hope that you all made it home safely. But, here Spain is still celebrating, and rightfully so. It's been a while since Spain has won the World Cup, so it is so important to continue to congratulate them. Again, they actually touched down not too long ago today. We saw video of the Spain soccer team touching down in Madrid. So a very exciting time for the 26-man squad. And we know that they're also going to meet with Spain's royals and prime minister. So again, congratulations to Spain soccer players and their fans. Time is 1:35 here on Fox Local. Let's talk about what's trending on Fox Local and Fox5Atlanta.com, and bring in Fox 5's digital content creator, Jamison Moyer. Jamison, thanks so much for joining us to talk about what's trending.
Hey, Jasmine, thanks for having me.
Yes, so good to see you. So first, let's talk about this story. I learned about it for the first time this morning. This multi-state search for this murder suspect, a woman named Isabel Johnson.
Yeah, so a massive multi-state manhunt is intensifying across Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. Police are hunting for 38-year-old Isabel Rose Johnson. She's wanted for murder after the remains of 43-year-old Jasmyn Cornell were found in a shallow grave in Freeport, Florida. 5 people have already been arrested for helping her hide, but Johnson remains on the run, according to police. Investigators say she frequently changes her appearance, has distinct hand and ankle tattoos, and uses several aliases, including Harley, Jessica, and Denise. She's known to fake stories of domestic violence to get rides and cash, according to authorities. There is an $11,000 reward for information that would lead to her arrest. If you see her, police say do not approach her, just call 911 immediately.
And this is a very huge story here, and police did say they have already arrested about 4 other people in connection to this.
That is exactly right. 5 other people, apparently they have been helping her hide while she's been on the run. I know this is something that our newsroom, our web team was tipped off to about last week. I believe, and I don't want to say the wrong information, but I believe Freeport, Florida is in Walton County, Florida. And yeah, they say that she has ties to a lot of places in North Georgia and across Florida and Alabama.
And speaking of ties here, we know that she's being accused of murdering a 43-year-old father. Do we know her connection to this father, to the victim here?
I do not have information on that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure whether or not we know what the actual connection was between them two.
Well, we do know that officials are releasing information, both authorities in Georgia and Alabama, just across the southeast. So hopefully we can get some more details on this murder suspect here that has this search that has expanded to Georgia. Moving forward, not surprised that this story is trending online. The president is expected to visit Cobb County with Georgia governor candidate Rick Jackson.
Yes, so President Donald Trump, he is scheduled to visit Cobb County this week, this Wednesday, and this upcoming stop is drawing pushback from local groups. The president will be at Wheeler High School on Wednesday afternoon to pitch a new student initiative called Trump Accounts. While school officials say that the event highlights the district's academic success, and they have said that they are honored to welcome him, local Democratic leaders and progressive groups are criticizing the school board's decision to host the president. Protesters are already organizing rallies outside the campus, arguing public school resources should not be used for political events. Either way, the event starts at 2 p.m. on Wednesdays, and drivers should expect heavy traffic and tight security around the school while President Trump is in town.
And Jamison, I do want to get to the next story here. I know that this is a big one. We're going to continue to follow the president coming to the Atlanta area, but this story on Cyclospora, the FDA investigating Taylor Farms here, but we just got some new information about their findings.
Yeah, so there's a major update, like you said, on the stomach parasite Cyclospora. The FDA now says a lettuce sample from Taylor Farms that originally tested positive for the parasite was actually a false positive. Laboratory experts reviewed the data and confirmed the initial test was a mistake. Taylor Farms says it has been cleared, and officials emphasize there are currently no confirmed positive samples tied to the outbreak. Health officials are still investigating the source of the illnesses, which cause severe stomach cramps and watery diarrhea. In the meantime, Taylor Farms has already pulled all iceberg lettuce coming from central Mexico as a precaution. But this Cyclospora outbreak is just every single day we get new updates on how many people are being affected by this outbreak, where the parasite is coming from, things to watch out for. It just continues to evolve every day.
And cases are surging. We heard from Connecticut leaders earlier today on this, and they're asking for CDC leaders to really dig into what's happening here with Cyclospora. But it's just so crazy. It feels like we're back at square one here with this illness. And so hopefully we can get some answers soon.
Absolutely. And hopefully everyone stays safe out there. Just be careful, because it does not sound like a disease like that you want to, or a parasite that you want to have. So
absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Jasmyn, for joining us to talk about what's trending on Fox Local and fox5atlanta.com. Let's get into this, guys. So August is often called Divorce Month, if you didn't know, and experts say many surprise breakups actually began long before divorce papers are filed. So family lawyer and relationship expert Gabriella Pumery is here to talk about silent divorces. Gabriella, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So first, tell us, what is a silent divorce? What does that mean?
Yeah, look, a silent divorce, it's not usually one big dramatic event like people might expect. It's really a slow, emotional separation. It happens while the couple's probably still living together, they're parenting together, and they look completely fine from the outside. So it really begins with small moments of disconnection. You know, conversations are avoided, the affection's disappearing, everyone's needs are going unspoken, and then disappointments start to, eventuate, and they don't quite get resolved. And so none of those moments might feel big enough to start talking about divorce or to end a marriage on their own, but they begin piling up. And so eventually one person's not just upset anymore, they're really emotionally exhausted. And by the time the actual divorce is mentioned, it's, one person's been privately grieving or desiring this divorce for months or even years.
Thanks so much for explaining that. Why are so many people blindsided by silent divorces?
I think it's because as a society, we're taught to look for the obvious signs of relationship breakdown, a big affair, a betrayal, constant screaming or someone suddenly leaving. But marriages don't end because of one enormous rupture these days. What we're seeing trending is hundreds of tiny moments building up. People are starting to feel very unseen, unsupported or alone. And so what I think is the spouse who's often blindsided is saying, but we weren't fighting. I had no idea this was going to happen. And what I'm seeing is that the problem is the absence of fighting. It doesn't mean there's peace within a home. What it often means is sometimes one person's just stopped believing that having the conversation or arguing is actually going to change anything.
Thanks so much for sharing. That's no good there. Tell us some of the warning signs of couple burnout.
Yeah, I think realistically, when you're at home, you see that conflict is no longer, happening. Affection and curiosity, they've slowly disappeared. One person's no longer sharing good news with their partner, all their worries or their frustrations. There's more emotional intimacy with colleagues or friends or other people, and that's a big warning sign. One person's often feeling lonely, even when their partner's in the same room as them. Got someone scrolling, someone watching TV. There's no real connection anymore. And I think what a big red flag is when couples postpone the hard conversations. They're not talking about what's going on. And another big one is where one partner really feels that sense of release when the other one's out of the home, they're away or they're at work.
Thanks so much for sharing those warning signs. So how can couples open up dialogue about what burnout looks like and also start supporting each other instead of drawing away?
Yeah, I think it's so important to stop waiting for one big major crisis, a big blow up to start checking the health of your relationship. We go to the doctor to check our health. People need to start checking in on their relationship. Ask deeper questions, not just, are you okay or are we okay? We're going to automatically say yes. Ask, do you feel supported by me? Is there anything that maybe you've stopped telling me because you think I'm not going to understand? Or what can we work on? Take time out for each other as a couple. I often say, wake up a bit earlier, make a coffee, sit down, have that connection time, or go for a walk in the evening and have that uncomfortable conversation whilst there's still a bit of warmth and goodwill, not when the kids are around, not when you're in the middle of a big argument. I think people often forget that relationships require maintenance. We service our cars. We need to service our relationships too. Not just talk about children's well-being and finances and schedules, but really how we're both doing, as a partnership.
Gabriella, some great advice there. Some of the quotes that you said, they need to be put on a t-shirt. Relationships require maintenance. Right. They do. And so we put so much time into our careers and other hobbies that sometimes as couples, we forget that we do have to work towards fulfilling our partner as well, making sure they feel supported.
Absolutely.
Well, Gabriella, thanks so much for joining us. We've enjoyed talking to you today and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Our time now is 1:45. We're back with a look at a food drive for our elder residents. We'll be right back. Welcome back here to Fox Local. I want to take you out to a live event happening right now. The funeral of Nolan Wells from Mississippi is underway. His family is speaking alongside Reverend Al Sharpton and attorney Ben Crump. Let's take a listen to what they're saying.
We were asking, did you guys ever get the incident report back? We know it was an issue getting it.
No, we brought that up in our meeting, so hopefully we will address that. Won't be today, but we will address that. Okay.
Hi, my name is Ken. I'm from DFW Night Shift Crime in Dallas, Texas. Just want to offer my condolences to you. I wanted to ask you, what does honoring Nolan's legacy look like for your family moving forward? Are there any foundations, scholarships, community initiatives, or causes you hope people will support in his memory?
Absolutely. This is actually something my cousin Keezy and I have briefly discussed. But of course, with everything that's going on, we want things to kind of cool down a little bit. My husband and I, honestly, we have not fully processed this. We have not fully grieved Nolan, but that is the plan, is to come up with some foundation, just honor him, but also to United Cajun Navy. Big help, boots on the ground almost immediately after I spoke with Josh Gill. So, you know, we have to remember those types of organizations in our communities and utilize them, but also give back to them. So that is our hope, that we'll be able to give as much as we've been given during this time.
Yes. Stephen Smith with the Associated Press. Is there any update to the independent autopsy that you guys requested?
Sure. And just on that last question, very good question. Christine and Elmore and Cliff Jones and Lisa Park at office, they talk frequently, and that's one of the things she stressed at the funeral service. She wanted to celebrate his life and celebrate and define what his legacy will be. So we look forward to working to define his legacy. Nobody else is going to define his legacy but the people who knew him best.
That's right.
Yeah. As it relates to the independent autopsy, we are looking to have findings sooner rather than later. Obviously, you want stuff from the first autopsy because they had the body closer to time. We got the body almost 6 days later, Dr. Roger Mitchell. So there are limitations as to what he could do. So, you know, you do the best you can, but there are unanswered questions. So he's getting his report together. I believe it will be coming very soon. Yeah.
Let me take one. I'm gonna take three more.
And again, you're taking a live look here at Nolan Wells' family, Attorney Ben Crump, and also Reverend Al Sharpton after his funeral, answering some questions. Of course, people have a lot of questions about this situation involving Nolan Wells, who 18 years old went missing on a 4th of July boating trip, and he was the only one out of his group of friends who came back. So this is a story we will continue to follow. I do want to bring it back home here to the Atlanta area. Our Chris Rosenthal is at an event that helps seniors. We know that grocery prices are rising and more seniors are starting to struggle because of this. So this event was created to support them. Chris, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this. What's happening out there now?
Being on fixed income and their medical expenses, and that's why Omega Support Center is here in DeKalb County, providing meals for these seniors. They do this every month, and this is a drive-up event here, and they are filling up the cars of these seniors that are registered. They do register for this opportunity, and I have Christy Bloodworth here with the Omega Support Center. And tell me a little about what you guys are doing here today.
Okay, Chris, well, today we are conducting our monthly senior food distribution. We'll give out about 100 pounds of food to through drive-through. About 45 of that comes from the Atlanta Community Food Bank. And then we work with our retail partners as far as Publix, Dollar General, and also Kroger to pick up other items to be able to give out. So today we're giving out fresh bread, baked goods, and also meat. We have pork, chicken, turkey, beef, and then we also have a little bit of produce. We're doing tomatoes today and some other dairy products.
And these boxes here we're looking at, by the way, these are the ones that they'll be delivering. And then the other ones over there and the other food, we can go walk over here actually. This other food over here is some of the other food that they're packing up, giving to people as they come by here. You're on the front lines of this. How bad's the need?
Well, the need is great as far as meeting the needs of the seniors because we have 1 to 7 seniors that face food insecurity. Over 20% of our seniors in DeKalb County are on the SNAP program. So this is a supplemental program. Now, the boxes are provided for us, but everything else Omega Support Center does. So there's nothing left today. I mean, we're distributing close to 13,000 pounds of food today within 4 hours. So it will all be gone. Nothing will be left. And even if we do have scraps, we share that with the farmers in the area for them to feed their animals.
And to be clear, so nobody comes over here and rushes it and gets disappointed, there's such a need here that this is all, you're filled up here on registrations.
We are. We currently have 213 slots and all of them are full. However, we will take your name and put you on the wait list and because spots open up monthly. And then sometimes we receive extra boxes. Right now we're waiting to receive another stipend from the federal program and the Atlanta Community Food Bank for us to be able to serve the clients who are on the wait list.
Yeah, and some of this is federally funded, but you guys also take donations, and how can people help?
Oh, absolutely. We're a nonprofit, so we work 3 times as hard for as little money. So we're always looking for more donors. We're looking for corporate sponsors to be able to help us expand our outreach program. And you want me to tell them where to get it?
Sure.
Okay, so you can find more about our programs and all the services that we offer at omegasupportcenter.org, omegasupportcenter.org.
Gotcha. You guys will be out here until about, 5 o'clock today?
We're here until about 5:30.
It's about 5:30 here today. And, really providing some good food for these seniors, for people that are in need. Maybe these people may be your neighbors here. So here in DeKalb County. So back to you guys.
All right, Chris, that sounds good. Curious to know, if people couldn't make it out today to this food drive, where else can they find resources from this group?
Yeah, you go on their website, on the Omega Support Center website, and they do a variety of events. They do diaper giveaways and other events for the community, not just for seniors here. But again, you can go on their website and see all the activities and all the events and services that they provide for the community.
All right, Chris.
The Omega Support Center.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks so much for giving us this information. We look forward to seeing your hits later today as well. And thank you all for joining us here on Fox Local. Thanks for joining this news conversation. Again, we're streaming here on social media as well. So don't go anywhere. Our news continues right at 2 with Ariel Onstadt.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock on your Monday afternoon. We've got a lot of things to get to, as always. So let's go ahead and start in Stone Mountain. We understand that a local fraternal order of police is working to save the Stone Mountain Park Police Department after officers have been fearing for their job security. Our Ray Urena joins us live now. Ray, what are you learning? I understand that a lot of officers were uncertain as to what their future looked like with the department.
Yeah, Ariel, and we just walked out of the board meeting of the board of directors for the Stone Mountain Memorial Association, who runs and governs the park, and they told us, both the CEO and the chairman told us after the meeting, that they are not going to be dismantling the police department as it stands, but they do say that they are dealing with some financial issues as a result of the current financial situation. You may remember that in June they actually switched operating partners of the park itself. Now, in attendance today was the FOP president of Fort DeKalb, Bob Hillis, who actually penned a letter to the governor. I'm going to bring Bob in here now for a live interview. Bob, if you could step towards me real quick. All right, there we go. So, Bob, you were in the meeting yourself. You heard the chairman and the CEO's comments. The CEO made a statement, a lengthy one at that, before the meeting started. What did you think of it?
That was a good statement, but again, they're talking about they're not doing away with the Department of Public Safety or not doing away with the police department. Well, they didn't advise you of what it was going to look like when they're done. The chief reported to the board that 4 officers have left already after they've encouraged people to look for other employment. And I asked the chief if they're going to be able to replace those 4 people. I was like, no, there's a hiring freeze. He also told us there's at least 8 more people looking to leave. And so obviously they may not completely do away with it, but it's going to be very severely gutted.
Yeah, and severely gutted. Just how does it feel? I know you're a Stone Mountain local yourself. Just, you were talking earlier, we were interviewing before this, but you were talking about the safety and reputation of Stone Mountain Park. How would this be impacted should the board move forward with this decision that you're expecting them to?
Well, Stone Mountain Park has a reputation of being a very safe environment. And I think that is a testament to the organization they've put together here over the past few decades to earn that reputation. This park has, the vast forested areas, the lakes, the mountain. You have large crowds, events, hiking trails, the lakes, the mountain itself. It's a very unique environment that requires a very unique approach to public safety.
Yeah. Is there anything else before we let you go that you want to tell people about how the Fraternal Order Police is going to continue advocating for these officers in the future?
I'm going to continue to be their voice as much as possible. I was not allowed to attend their meeting they had with the public safety officers, but I'm hoping to get an idea of what they were told.
And hopefully we'll hear more from that in a little bit. Thank you so much, Bob. And just right as I referenced the CEO, he actually gave us a copy of his statement that he read to the board and to the public in attendance. We have a clip from CEO Bob Stevens. Take a listen to it.
Many months, we've been taking a careful look at every aspect of the association's operation. This has never been simply about reducing costs. Like every organization, we have to evolve to meet the changing demands of new realities. And SMMA is no exception to that. While financial sustainability is a critical part of that effort, it isn't always our primary consideration, and it certainly isn't our only consideration. We're taking a thoughtful and deliberate approach to these decisions. Until we completed that work and have a comprehensive plan in place, it wouldn't be appropriate to speculate about specific operational or staffing changes. Talking publicly about incomplete plans can only create unnecessary confusion and concern for our employees, our stakeholders, and the public.
And the CEO told me that after the meeting that they will have another meeting on August 17th, and that's also what he referenced in his statement. He says that the board and the public will receive what they're calling a comprehensive presentation on the association's current operational strengths, the areas where improvements are needed, and the analysis that will help inform future decisions. So as of right now, Ariel, nothing is changing in terms of the police department, but we're going to come back again next month to see exactly what that comprehensive plan from the Stone Mountain Memorial Association could look like.
Ray, thanks for the update. I understand budgeting is tough and they're trying to make sure that they're balancing all factors. At the same time, I can also understand why residents and others would want this police force there. So we will stay tuned to you to understand what the next month looks like when they release that plan. In the meantime, I'll let you gather more information and we'll see you again later this evening. So Ray, thanks so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, guys, there is a manhunt underway for an armed and dangerous suspect. This deals with that convenience store murder we brought to you as breaking news last week. And you're taking a look at this man here on your screen. We're getting a better understanding as to why and why police are looking for him, who he is. And so in case you're unfamiliar, let me catch you up, because in Hall County, a massive law enforcement investigation is underway, a manhunt for this man you just saw on your screen. His name is Antoine Centel Thurmond, and ultimately they are hoping to capture him after they say he ambushed and murdered his former girlfriend in an Oakwood convenience store. The Hall County Sheriff's investigation are searching for Antoine Centel Thurmond. He is 45 years old of Oakwood, and they say that he shot his girlfriend Tia Keith, who was 44 years old. Surveillance footage from inside that store that you just saw, this was the Subnala Food Mart on Mountain View Road, captured him inside the business during the armed ambush that left the woman dead, and police believe that she was his ex-girlfriend. Now, ultimately, family members have been devastated by this killing, as you might imagine. They've shared with us what this loss means and ultimately how, unfortunately, this happens all too often. Take a listen to what a family member of Mrs. Keith had to share with us.
She was in a relationship that she was trying to exit from. I want to tell women out there who are in relationships and they're not healthy to get away. Remember her heart, the kind of person that she was, her sense of humor, that she was a sweet person.
Heartbreaking situation, as you can imagine. So, and initially, police had not released the suspect's name. They had just said that he was an ex-boyfriend who was waiting for her in her car when Miss Keith came back out of the gas station. They say he shot her multiple times and then followed her inside the store as she was trying to get away from him, shot her again multiple times, ultimately killing her. Since that time, police have now released his mugshot, his name. If you have any information, give police a call immediately. I do want to let you know that they say he has a prosthetic lower left leg, saying that he walks with a distinct slight limp, and that could be another identifier of him. It looks like he has a tattoo on his neck that says in part romance. So we will continue to keep you updated. In the meantime, let's talk about an $11,000 reward being offered for a woman suspected of murder. We're going to get into this because a multi-state woman hunt, I guess you could say, is intensifying across the Southeast as investigators are searching for this person wanted on an open count of murder after a man's remains were discovered on a Florida property. Florida deputies are searching for Isabel Rose Johnson. They say that human remains were found buried in a shallow grave, and multiple law enforcement agencies across Florida, Georgia, and Alabama are actively searching for this 38-year-old woman. A massive $11,000 reward is on the table for any information that brings Johnson into custody, but the Walton County Sheriff's Office says she's wanted for the murder of 43-year-old Jason Colhart, whose remains turned up June 25th on a property off of Sunset Lane in Freeport. Now, ultimately, the Niceville Police Department tipped off the sheriff's investigators about where to find that body. So far, enforcement efforts have landed 5 people in handcuffs. You saw their mugshots just a bit ago, all charged with accessory after the fact to a capital felony, while Johnson is continuing to run from the law. And deputies describe her as a white woman standing 5 foot 3 inches tall and weighing roughly 120 pounds. She has brown hair, hazel eyes, and investigators believe she recently cut her hair short and dyed it to mask her identity. She frequently moves around, investigators say, and cycles through multiple aliases like Harley, Jessica Elaine Bowman, Jessica Elaine Thrush, Jessica Elaine Thrash. If you want a full list of her aliases, you can go to fox5atlanta.com. We have it here in our article. I do want to let you know that she has distinct tattoos, including a floral design on her left hand near her thumb and forefinger, and another on her right ankle. Investigators have not released any motive behind this killing, but they are asking for help in identifying her whereabouts. Let's quickly talk about this crazy situation that unfolded in Sandy Springs. A car being chased by police ended up landing on top of a police cruiser. Talk about a nightmare for that suspect. A federal drug suspect tied to a large criminal investigation and organization was arrested Friday after his vehicle launched into a Sandy Springs police cruiser during a chase last week. Now, the Sandy Springs Police Department Street Crimes Unit teamed up with HSI Atlanta's field office Friday to apprehend Jorge Luis Delgado Bermudez. The suspect was wanted on multiple drug charges, including methamphetamine and cocaine offenses. Sandy Springs police say that he also has ties to a larger criminal organization and faces additional federal charges. Officers tried to box in his car near Colquitt Road, but they say he took off and his car struck a concrete barrier during a subsequent chase, lifting its rear end into the air before it ultimately landed on top of a Sandy Springs patrol cruiser. And we have those photos from the Sandy Springs Police Department. Now, Delgado Bermudez got out of his car and ran off, but officers were able to arrest him. Ultimately, no one was hurt during this encounter, but we'll continue to keep you updated as police investigate. In the meantime, let's bring you to some World Cup action. So if you're in withdrawals, if you're feeling a little depressed because there's no more soccer or football to watch every day, you're not alone. But let's talk a little bit about the effects that this tournament and all of the games we've seen, all 8 of them, in fact, here in our city have affected us. Our Deidre Dukes has been speaking with the mayor's office. And Deidre, thanks so much for joining us live. What is the mayor sharing with you?
They're absolutely enthusiastic about what he sees as a great, and I must say, from FIFA's head of operations, FIFA's president, all the way down to local leaders here in the city of Atlanta, just saying that Atlanta really carried off just some great games, really served as a great host throughout our several weeks of coverage here and several weeks of hosting these meets, and the tens of thousands of fans who gathered here in Atlanta, both for the matches themselves and also the other entertainment-related events that we hosted here during that period. The mayor really saying that this really proves that Atlanta continues to be a great city to host global and national events. As you know, Ariel, we've also hosted several sporting events and things of that nature. We are in the running for the upcoming 2028 DNC convention. We have the Super Bowl coming in 2028. And so the mayor was saying, look, we've already shown that we can do this, but we really took it to the next level here, hosting this some 30 years after hosting the world for the Olympics. And so he was just in a great mood this morning. Here's what he told us.
It's been one fantastic ride. FIFA World Cup 2026 in Atlanta, Georgia has exceeded expectations. We had the best time, and the city really was highlighted in the best way. It was safe, it was fun, it was festive, it was downtown and around the city. It was on the Beltline, various places across Southwest and Buckhead and other places in Atlanta. We tried to make sure that as many communities as possible could feel the love. I'm just grateful that, law enforcement, our first responders and EMS and firefighters and, the park staff and public works and everybody, our international affairs team, really hosting all of these dignitaries and players and people from all over the world. Atlanta really shined. MARTA shined. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport shined. And downtown, our Metro Atlanta residents got to experience downtown Atlanta in a way they hadn't experienced it in a long time.
And the mayor also noting that this wasn't just a win for those who were in town for FIFA, but also a win for those who live and work in the city of Atlanta, because beginning years out, we have been preparing for this. There's been infrastructure put in place, monies that were allocated for street improvements, sidewalks, things of that nature. And so just as it was with the Olympics some 30 years ago, we see here the infrastructure here in Georgia, how we have benefited locally here in Atlanta as a result, as far as the improvements that were made to the city of Atlanta as a result of FIFA. And so once again, the mayor saying that he's very happy with the way things turned out. He did say he understands some of the concerns that were expressed by some of the local business owners, that perhaps they didn't get as much foot traffic as they thought they would, were told that they would prior to signing up and spending a lot of money to set up shop in the designated areas. But we were told that they do also continue to work on that, and that they're constantly looking for ways to improve, and so that they do expect that next go round they'll have some changes in place for that also.
Deidre, it's so exciting to think about what other big events are coming to our city between the Super Bowl and, of course, the DNC. I'm curious, in speaking with the mayor, obviously Mayor Dickens loves to highlight the positives, and he did speak about the ways that he wants to continue to grow. Were there any other opportunities for growth that he identified? I think you alluded to some of them, but just curious if he was able to speak with that to you at all.
Well, early in, they just officially wrapped up all the FIFA festivities on Sunday. And so, as you might imagine, they're going to go back to the drawing board, really kind of do a deep dive, analyze what worked, what didn't, areas where they see they can improve and move forward as it pertains to, okay, what can we do better next time? But overall, he said he is just initially very pleased with what he saw as far as, from APD to city officials, public works, things of that nature, and how they carried out over the past several weeks their operations during FIFA.
Really great effort on behalf of the city. And Deidre, just so incredible to see our entire city come together for this kind of an event. I was at Piedmont Park yesterday for the free concert with Ludacris, and I have to laugh because Ludacris made sure to let everybody know it was free. I think 28 mentions of free concert. He was slipping it into the lyrics, fitting it into songs. He wanted everyone to know. So everyone definitely played a part, and I'm glad that things went off without a hitch. So Deidre, thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll see you again later this evening. As we continue at 2 o'clock, you guys, let's talk a little bit about some national headlines we're following, national and local. So as many of you know, President Donald Trump is set to visit a high school here, Wheeler High School in Cobb County this week. And I'd like to talk about what we're seeing in response to that, because President Trump is going to be pitching a student investment initiative, and some of the community is pushing back. We're expecting some organized protests as well as other rallies during the president's visit. The Cobb County Democratic Committee has announced it's partnering with local organizations to mobilize what they call peaceful demonstrations along the upcoming school visit. Committee leaders are also demanding further accountability, or I guess information from school leaders who they say are agreeing to this visit. Ultimately, White House and school officials confirmed that the district was selected to highlight academic excellence and student success. Now, the gathering is scheduled to feature exceptional educators and students who helped establish that school system in Cobb County as a national leader in public education. I do want to read one quote from CCDC Chair Essence Johnson, who said, quote, "I don't know why school leadership thought they could, quote, sneak this visit through and not expect community pushback, but there will be community pushback." Now, this woman is saying that she is leveling heavy criticism against Superintendent Chris Ragsdale and others who she says should not be hosting that event there at the high school. So we, of course, will be covering both sides of this issue when the president comes to visit here this week. The event is scheduled to start at 2 in the afternoon on Wednesday, and we will have more information on fox5atlanta.com and right here in the Fox Local app. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing regarding gas prices here in Georgia, because if you filled up recently and it has seemed to be more expensive, you are not crazy. Fuel costs fuel costs here across the metro Atlanta area have spiked 23 cents in just the past week alone. Of course, escalated by the conflict with Iran that shows no sign of ending anytime soon. We're seeing $3.76 a gallon for unleaded, up significantly from that $3.59 average recorded just last week. And it's not likely the situation's going to get better. So if your tank is empty, now might be a good time to get that gas before it goes up further. Data from AAA shows that gas prices, as you might expect, much higher this time this year than the same time last year. And despite the multi-cent increase, local and state-wide fuel costs are still under the national average, which are at $4 a gallon. So according to AAA, Georgia is still cheaper than other places in the country. So we'll continue to keep you updated as that moves forward. But shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has been affected by the conflict, and that's why we're just not seeing movement with gas prices coming down and staying steady. Let's talk about the two soldiers who have now been identified after being killed in Jordan. The Pentagon is identifying U.S. Army Private Isabella Gonzalez, as well as First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan of Iwa Beach, Hawaii. Both were killed in action on July 18th at Mufaki Salti Air Base in Jordan. And in a release, the Pentagon says that the First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, the 25-year-old of Iwa Beach, Hawaii, was killed July 18th, and Private Isabella Gonzalez, just 19 years old, of Carrollton, Texas, was killed July 17th. Feehan was assigned to a 2nd Battalion 55 Air Defense Artillery Regiment, and he was the 32nd Army Air Missile Defense Command from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Gonzalez was assigned to the 1st Battalion 57th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 52nd Air Defense Artillery Brigade from the 10th Army Missile Defense Command in Ansbach, Germany. Ultimately, details of the attack outside of the use of ballistic missiles and drones have not been released. Several other service members have also been hurt, and the military says one person is missing, and an unidentified remains were also found Sunday and being examined. So we will continue to keep you updated on this. In the meantime, as a result, the United States continues to pound military targets in Iran, and I'd like to talk a little bit about what we are seeing, because we've seen more airstrikes and threats. Iran and the United States are inching towards a war that at this part is starting to look inevitable. Though Secretary of State Marco Rubio is saying there might be time for one more round of diplomacy. For a 9th straight night, the United States has pounded military targets in Iran. President Trump says that this is in honor of 2 American soldiers killed by Iranian airstrikes over the weekend. Iran has responded with attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait, both U.S. allies. They're also still firing on ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and fewer are getting through, though President Trump claims that will change very soon. Diplomats are scrambling to try to work on a ceasefire. Another ceasefire. Mediators are reportedly pushing a 10-day pause, hoping to find a way to revive the Memorandum of Understanding. Iran confirms offers have been made, but says a major trust gap at the bargaining table is making it difficult to get a deal done. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that the Iranians have to change their behavior in order for the United States to change ours. Take a listen.
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to be real. It has to be a deal that they're willing to live by. Look, Iran a week ago was supposed to put out a statement saying that the Straits of Hormuz would be open, that they would no longer attack shipping. And instead of doing that, they attacked 3 ships. We dealt with last Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, their behavior has to change in order for ours to change.
Are now questioning whether a long-term deal is even possible, because Iran's negotiating team has to sell it to the hardline Revolutionary Guard leaders. The Pentagon says 7 American service members have died so far in the conflict with Iran. Let's switch now and talk about Cyclospora, because, you guys, we are getting new details about the Cyclospora outbreak and Taylor Farms. So I'd like to go into a couple stories we're following here in the newsroom, because the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, is now saying additional testing on Taylor Farms lettuce shows the initial test revealed a false positive for Cyclospora. The agency previously announced on Saturday that the shredded lettuce provided by Taylor Farms did test positive, result, the company initiated a voluntary recall of its shredded lettuce products from central Mexico. As of Sunday, the FDA says no product samples have had a confirmed positive result for the parasite. Taylor Farms says the FDA apologized for the initial result, and the new information does not change the company's earlier voluntary recall. So basically, just because they're saying now that this was a false positive, they're not going to end that recall of the lettuce. The company says they're going to continue to work with the FDA to ensure any products implicated in this outbreak are removed from the market. More than 7,000 people are confirmed or suspected to have been sickened with cyclosporiasis, this illness caused by the cyclospora parasite. In the last 2 months, Michigan has been the apparent epicenter of this outbreak. At least 34 states have reported cases of this intestinal disease. More than 140 have been hospitalized, and there had been little progress in finding a source of the outbreak. Investigators believed they had linked it to Taylor Farms, but now it seems like that may or may not be the case. Not every sick person has eaten at Taco Bell. Taco Bell has also been a big factor in all of this, but again, keep in mind, not every sick person ate there. The FDA has been unable to confirm the source of the outbreak with lab testing so far. The CDC says it expects cases to rise through August and has issued a new alert to physicians to test for the parasite in people who display symptoms. But I've seen a lot of talk on social media about Taylor Farms CEO and donations to the presidential campaign of Donald Trump. So let's talk about what's confirmed, because there's a lot of rumors, and I'd like to take you through some confirmed reporting. It is true that Taylor Farms CEO Bruce Taylor and executives of Taylor Farms have made significant contributions to President Donald Trump and his allies. The Federal Election Commission's filings show that Taylor Fresh Foods Incorporated, the parent company of Taylor Farms, made a $1 million contribution to MAGA Inc., the super PAC supporting Trump's political operation. Now, in March of 2025, less than a week after the FDA announced that it would delay implementation of the food traceability rules. So this is something a lot of people are talking about online right now. What are the safety mechanisms in place, and did a donation happen from Taylor Farms to the Trump administration? It wasn't the Trump administration, but it was the campaign ultimately funding President Trump's campaign. According to reporting from Forbes, this new policy is one of the FDA's biggest food safety reforms in the last decade, and it's made to make it easier and faster to trace contaminated food back through the supply chain during an outbreak. When implemented, it will require companies that handle certain high-risk foods like lettuce, fresh cut vegetables, and the like to keep standardized digital records showing where produce came from and where it went. So that way there is an event of an outbreak, an easier way to trace some of these contaminated items. That law is now scheduled to go into effect in July 2028. So the food traceability rule has been delayed. We will keep you updated on that, but I wanted to show what was confirmed reporting given what we have seen on social media so far. Coming up straight ahead, you guys, we're going to bring you closer to home, talk about our weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Forbes. We're taking a look over some clear skies, it looks like, with some clouds at Lake Lanier. As you can see, more to come from Alex straight ahead. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. Alex, I feel like we've seen such an unsettled weather pattern here in Georgia, and this heat, there's so much energy in the atmosphere, and now that might be translating to some other things we're seeing.
Yeah. So it's all tied together, right? We're looking at fewer showers and storms today, partially because we got a lot of, believe it or not, dry air at the upper level of the atmosphere, but that's also what's holding back Tropical Depression 2 from really becoming something right now. So let's get to it and talk about what's going on across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. 90 here in the city now, 88 in Rome and in Dalton, 87 over in Blairsville, 93 already in Eatonton at this hour. You got to squint really... What's the word? I guess
really hard.
Yeah. To find some showers out there. Or notice your lightning counter is on up at the top of your screen, and you are not seeing anything in the way of lightning strikes, but a shower right now over Vogel State Park in White County. Also a couple down near the 675 split, just on the really west side of the Stockbridge area, right where the express lanes start. And then over on the Alabama state line, north of Weiss Lake and towards DeKalb County, Alabama, Jackson County, Alabama, one of those on the state line at Chattooga County, which, by the way, Chattooga County, our first district to go back to school this Friday. Here is Tropical Depression 2. Winds of 35, pressure of 1,005 millibars, moving barely to the northwest at 3 miles an hour. You can run faster than that, but notice how it's lopsided, right? You saw that center is really, if you squint real hard again, you can see my mouse. It's kind of like right in this area where it's circulating, but then the cloud cover extends down to the south. And part of the reason for that is because you've got that dry air that I was just mentioning in our neck of the woods. But look at this, scattered showers. I mean, coming across the Georgia state line as close as the Albany area, that is Tropical Depression 2 there. Let's track it now. We are going to get, or just got a new advisory at 2 o'clock, and you can see that the expectation is that it becomes a tropical storm, but not a strong one. Peak winds of about 50 miles an hour by early Wednesday morning. 40 miles an hour is kind of that threshold. Now notice your cone, that tracks the center, right? That doesn't track the impacts. Because the storm is so lopsided, a lot of the rain is going to happen over the open Gulf waters. So not looking at a tremendous threat along the coast, but nonetheless, tropical storm watches are up from the New Orleans area, across the Mississippi coast, Alabama coast, and all the way over to Apalachicola. I expect some of those to become warnings in relatively short order. So no impacts for Metro Atlanta or North Georgia. Flooding will be the biggest concern down there, although it's not a huge concern, right? I think in tropical systems, you can get into real sticky situations, and that's just not what we have here. And the interaction with the coastline will determine the late week impacts in Texas. You saw that cone head over towards Houston, but I expect this to be a remnant low by the time it gets there. There is a world where that is not the case, and that's if it's able to stay over the open Gulf waters, but it just does not look like that is a likelihood at this point.
All right.
So that's it.
Okay, good to know. Alex, I'm looking ahead to today, and I'm like, okay, today and tomorrow. If you have anything to do outdoors,
like these are the pool days.
Yeah, do it now. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, what can you really do? But try to make the most of it because, the rest of the week, say psych, but it's not. We can't. It's going to be raining.
Yeah, it's just back to that usual summertime pattern, if you will. 40, 50, 60% chance of storms.
Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much. You guys, coming up next, we're going to be talking about the latest with the World Cup, wrapping up an incredible tournament overall, what to expect, and what is ahead for the future of the sport right here. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here on your Monday afternoon. The 2026 World Cup is in the books after Spain defeated Argentina 1-0 on Sunday afternoon. Now, thousands of fans were in the stadium, and this FIFA World Cup run brought forth a lot of historic firsts, an expanded tournament, first ever halftime show. So I'd like to get out live to Fox's Ashley Dvorkin, live in New York City. Ashley, it is great to see you. What stands out to you from this final match? And of course, you've been covering this throughout the tournament, so if you want to throw any other highlights in, feel free.
Thank you. Hi, Ariel. Yes, I can't believe this whole World Cup journey is wrapping up. What a way to do it. I was there, New York, New Jersey Stadium. There were 80,000 fans as Spain beat Argentina for that win, that World Cup win, and scoring that one and only goal in the 106th minute of the match, going into extra time. So you can imagine when you were sitting there in the stadium, everybody was just waiting, edge of their seats for that first goal. But it was an incredible win and also a really fun time to be there for that first ever halftime show. The highlights with Shakira and Burna Boy, and then also BTS and Madonna, who kicked it off. I will say I was looking at the pitch waiting for her entrance. So that, I know there are mixed reviews online. She's an icon. We just wanted to see her more. Justin Bieber also performed. He did a slower song, so kind of slowed it down when everybody was dancing. But I'm also going to highlight the Muppets, who were there. Great cameo. Ted Lasso, great cameo with Coach Beard. That show is coming out. You know, I'm the entertainment reporter, so I could go on and on about the halftime show. Also the star-filled celebrities. But as you mentioned, yes, I've been on this tournament tour, these travels, stadium to stadium, and some of the greatest takeaways have been with the fans, in the fan zones, hearing from them, hearing about how this tournament really brought people together, how they've really appreciated, you know, international fans coming here and visiting, and the highlights for them during their trips. And then even for us, when we're thinking, okay, well, the Viking Row, now I know that, and the Tartan Army and all of that. And I also want to add that my producer, Liza, who has been doing this journey with me, is such a rock star. We've gone to the match. We don't want to miss these amazing opportunities. And then we're up first thing in the morning talking live reports, and we're just having a blast, Ariel.
Well, Ashley, it's an incredible run, and seeing all of the fans, the, you know, sharing of cultures back and forth, if you will, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we do know a Viking Row now. We got to a firsthand lesson in cleanliness from Japanese fans, like, you know, the Dutch and their energy, the Scots and their love of beer in Boston. I mean, some of it seems predictable, and then there were just those surprising moments that just made you feel so happy to be watching and to be a part of it.
Yes, and those were, for me too, those were the surprising moments that I absolutely loved. And a really funny moment when we were leaving Seattle in the airport, there was a table of FIFA World Cup stuff, souvenirs that you could pick up, and there was ranch dressing on that table. So there they go, like at the airport selling it. So the takeaway too, we will talk about, is the ranch dressing. But all these funny little tidbits that we can just continue to talk about and take away from the last 39 days of this tournament, and it really flew by. I feel it flew by.
I agree. I think it definitely flew by, and for those who have never watched the sport or who hadn't gotten a chance to experience what this is all about, they're now thinking, okay, maybe I'm a football or soccer fan. And Ashley, as we're talking, I just have to point out, we're showing some video right now of the Spanish national team being paraded through the streets right now. Lots of excitement. This is happening in Madrid, Spain, so they're on top of a bus. It looks like they're having a great time. As a kind of final question here, I'll ask you, what's next for fans of this sport? If they're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe the World Cup's over, I'm having withdrawals, when do I get to see national soccer again from these different teams? When do they get to see that?
Well, next up for soccer fans, the Women's World Cup, which is next year in Brazil. So we have that to look forward to. And you're right, there is such a newfound passion and interest and appreciation for the sport. So I personally also got so into it more than I ever have been before. Ariel?
It's just something about having it at home, you know, in your own country, being a part of the games. And then like when you're actually covering them and able to go in person, just incredible. I know I said I had a final question, but real quick, Ashley, what was your favorite part of the halftime show? Because I'm with you on some of your takes. I was like, I know people expected Madonna to come out. They really only had so much time for every performer. What did you think?
Shakira and Burna Boy. I've been singing Die Die since they released that, and they're adorable. The adorable kids that were dancing with them that also were in the music video when she released the music video and promised them, let's go perform at the World Cup halftime, and they did. That was my top. Also, the production. I do want to say we saw them roll out that colorful tarp, and it was just beautiful. And then at the end, they had flags of different colors for everybody to wave as they had the fireworks going off. So that was a moment that I will never forget. Ariel?
Me too, Ashley. Absolutely beautiful moment. Thanks so much for joining us live. I've always appreciated our conversations, and hopefully we'll be chatting again soon. So Ashley, I will see you again here upcoming at 3. All right, guys, as we continue, I mentioned that the Spanish national team is actually being paraded through the streets of Madrid right now. We can go back to some live images there, and I want to tell you they've arrived back home. You're hearing them loud and proud there in the streets of Madrid. Coach Luis de la Fuente, along with midfielder Rodri, who won the Golden Ball Award, stepped off the plane victoriously on Monday. Up there on front left, you can see Lamine Yamal. And Rodri held the World Cup trophy high in the sky with a big grin when he got off that plane back to Spain. The Iberia aircraft arrived at the Madrid Barajas airport around 8:30 in the morning local time. The team is expected to meet King Felipe VI at the palace before visiting the government headquarters at Moncloa Palace for a reception with the Prime Minister. They're going to participate in a parade through central Madrid, which you are watching now. So this is just really exciting to see, and we'll keep you updated as they continue to celebrate their World Cup win. Let's talk a little bit now and switch gears, bringing you closer to home, where a effort is underway to make sure vulnerable groups here in Metro Atlanta do not go hungry. Our Chris Rosenthal is showing us this food distribution that happens on the third Monday of every month. Chris, it's great to see you. Share a little bit of where you're at and how people can get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. This Omega Support Center. They're a nonprofit. They do this drive, like you said, every month here, and it is actually for seniors. You know, and with food, with inflation costs, everything going up, seniors are one of the hardest hit groups, and that's why they do this food drive here, this drive up food drive here every month, and it has been a steady flow of people showing up today. When I got here a little earlier, these boxes of food were piled high, and now they have whittled down and whittled right through it. And I have Christy Bloodworth here. She is the executive director of the Omega Support Center. And tell me a little bit about what we're doing here today.
Okay, Chris, so today we are conducting our senior food distribution. It's held the third Monday of every month. So we're giving out 213 food boxes, and then we're giving out additional supplies as far as baked goods, bread, and then also meat and produce, a little bit of produce, toiletries, and we have some other items, candy. That's what it was.
Yeah, and tell me about the demand. Tell me about the importance and the need for this for the seniors.
Well, we started this program right at 3.5 years ago, and we signed up doing 60 boxes within our first month, and we were full, and now we have grown to 213 boxes, and we have 47 seniors on our wait list, on our immediate wait list, and every month we take in more seniors waiting to get into the program. So the demand is high because the clients will receive anywhere from $100 to $200 worth of food and also small toiletries.
It means a lot to them, huh?
It means a lot to them. And we also serve 5 independent senior complexes, which that too is important because, as you know, the cost of living has gone up. So we make sure that we reached out to the independent senior complexes and we deliver directly to those. We take about 115 of our boxes to the senior box complexes.
And these volunteers, we can see they're buzzing around. They're super busy. You got a bit of a rush here. To be clear, these are all people that have registered, so this is not a necessarily a show up kind of thing, but people do want to be involved in this and get this help. What can they do?
On our senior program, if you're interested, you must be a DeKalb County resident, 60 and above. You can call 678-615-2390, and we will gladly put you on our list. Now, we do have extra items that doesn't require for you to be on the, enrolled. We can gladly share those with you. And then we also do other monthly distributions as far as our produce. But right now, that's pending, depending on the bacteria that's going around.
Sure. We have to make that adjustment. Well, appreciate your time. I know you're super busy getting these boxes out here, so I'll let you go and have at it. And they'll be here till about 5:30 today, and here in Tucker. And I'll be hanging out with them, and we'll bring you a little bit more later. Back
Chris,
to you.
thanks so much. Good to know this is happening until 5 o'clock there in Tucker. We'll see you again at 3 o'clock. Appreciate your bringing this to us live. As we continue here, you guys, let's talk about some news we're following out of New York City. We're learning one person has been arrested. A man has been arrested in Manhattan after allegedly lighting an incendiary device outside a federal building in Lower Manhattan Monday. Officials say he stood in front of the 26 Federal Plaza building, ignited fireworks, and even threatened those walking around the area with airsoft rifles. Police found a cart with anti-ICE messaging on it. They are investigating, and they do believe 2 people were hurt as a result of this. They say they believe it to be an anti-government attack, and ultimately they say that facility houses ICE officers and a short-term immigration detention center. Take a listen to the FBI agent in charge here, or the FBI assistant director in charge.
As you may or may not be aware, around 9 o'clock this morning, a man with an incendiary device and some liquid, I don't know what the liquid was, put the liquid down, set some fireworks on top of it. It caused a little bit of a little fire. He was armed with a pellet gun.
Talking about it right
2 people were injured, 1 federal employee and 1 civilian. Minor injuries. They are both treated and released. And at this time, our Joint Terrorism Task Force is investigating this as an anti-government attack on a federal facility.
Well, the officers arrested the man there at the scene, and authorities say the FBI's New York Joint Terrorism Task Force will take the lead on investigating this. In Tucson, 10 people were critically hurt after a gunman opened fire in the downtown area. You're taking a look at video from overnight where this happened. A Tucson police officer has shot the suspect who was running away after officers gave several commands after that gunfire in the 100 block of East Congress Street. Now, let's talk about what several officers heard, because they were patrolling the downtown district when they heard gunshots ring out there in the 100 block of East Congress Street. This happened around 2 a.m. on July 19th. A man was seen running from the area, and after officers gave several commands, one officer fired and shot the suspect. The alleged shooter was taken into custody, given first aid, and rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police have confirmed to Fox 10, our sister station there, that the confrontation took place between 2 groups who knew each other. Multiple people were shot, mostly to the extremities during this shooting. We've yet to learn more details about the suspect and a motive, but we're hoping to get more details from police about that soon. So 10 people total, including the suspect, so 11 in all were hurt in this. No officers were injured in the shooting. We'll continue to keep you updated as that moves forward. And really quickly, I do want to let you guys know that Meta is rolling out some new features in order to help teens about potential suicide risks. So let's talk about this, because we know that Meta has been in the news a lot lately. Lawmakers from countries around the globe are trying to navigate how to hold this tech giant accountable when it comes to online safety for kids. So Meta's offering new parental safety measures to help protect teens. Basically, Meta says it's introducing a feature that will alert parents if their teen discusses suicide or self-harm with Meta AI. Now, Meta says it's worked with parents and experts to build an AI system to identify conversations where a teen makes a, quote, clear reference to hurting themselves. The company says all flagged chats will be manually reviewed before an alert is sent, and it will, quote, err on the side of caution and alert the parent with ambiguous messages. Meta says it will share expert resources to, quote, help parents approach these conversations with their teens. Meta says it consulted with teen mental health clinicians in developing this and to provide feedback on how Meta AI responses to teens' prompts about suicide and self-harm can be improved. The company says Meta AI will, quote, acknowledge the teens' feelings when directing them to support resources and will make efforts to not, quote, shut the conversation down too abruptly. The alerts are now live for parents using Instagram's parental supervision features in the U.S., UK, Australia, and Canada. And it will be available globally by the end of the year. Coming up, you guys, we are going to take you out live to a award-winning team. Our Eli Jordan has been speaking with this all-girls team who won very high marks. We're going to talk about how and why straight ahead. Welcome in. The Walton County 4-H BB team has won a national championship with a perfect test score. Our Eli Jordan joins us live, and Eli would love to learn their recipe for success.
Oh, it's a lot of hard work, Ariel, and you know, I'm out here with a bunch of real Annie Oakleys here at the Walton County Agricultural Center with the Walton County 4-H BB team, and joining me right now is Jamie and Aubrey. Hello, Jamie. You're the coach, one of the coaches.
I am.
And Aubrey, you're one of the participants, part of the team that won it all last week up in Rogers, Arkansas, where the headquarters of Daisy BB Gun is. So tell me, how exciting was it to win?
It was very exciting, and I did not know a clue about it until we were called to be on stage. So
how did you do? I mean, did you hit the bullseye pretty good?
Yes, sir.
Were you nerve-wracking?
Aubrey actually shot a perfect score in prone.
So, I mean, did that surprise you? I mean,
yes, it did, because I did not think I did that good in prone, so I did much better than I thought.
That's cool. That's cool. And so, how many people are on your team?
5.
5, and it's all girls, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's girl power right there, I would say. And you're up against what? How many other teams?
I think 52.
52 other teams across the nation.
Yes, sir.
I mean, was it, kind of scary being up there shooting and doing all that? Just tell me, how were the nerves?
It wasn't as scary for me this year because I had already shot in at nationals last year, so I kind of got to calm down this year and actually focus.
Awesome. And Jamie, tell me, how much work do these young ladies put into, getting as good to win it all?
They put in hours and hours of work on the range and in the classroom. They spend multiple hours a week shooting and multiple hours a week learning safety and gun use.
And the safety test is one of the hardest. I mean, it's a big, major part of the competition, isn't it?
The safety test is a large part of the competition. Generally, the match can be won or lost on the safety test, but these kids this week put in 5 100s.
That's a perfect score on the safety test.
Perfect score.
So for the trophy to show off, that's the safety test trophy right there. But this is the big one of the team winning it all right here, correct?
Yes, it is.
And you don't have your plaque on here yet because Daisy hasn't sent it to you, but eventually you'll be filling up. Then there's another, what was it, 2000? We got Dakota on here, and then there's Walton County on here.
2015 and 2022.
25, there we go, right there, 15, 20, 22. All right, so anyways, we only got about 30 seconds left, but I mean, what would you say about, what does this say about Walton County and the 4-H club here at Walton County and the girls here?
It says that we have amazing community support from everyone from the 4-H office to our county sheriff that support these kids and that they work incredibly hard, and we're very proud of them.
You should be very proud of them because that's a big deal, traveling, halfway across the country, going into a competition that, you're kind of unfamiliar with, and then bringing home the big trophy and the other trophy with the safety test. I mean, that just says a lot to how big the 4-H club is here in Walton County, and
yes.
Puts these kids on a really good path for the future, I guess, too.
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for your time, and
you.
Aubrey, thank you so much, and thank you guys for being out here doing some target practice. But Tyler, not Ariel, not Tyler. Ariel, that's what's been going on out here. They've been showing off their skills for me, and they're real proud of themselves, which they should be. And the Walton County 4-H BB team has won it all last week, Monday, in Rogers, Arkansas. This is the headquarters of Daisy BB Guns. Ariel, let's kick it back to you.
Eli, love to see their team spirit and hardworking mentality. Wonderful that they even got a perfect score here to get that championship. So looking forward to chatting with you about this incredible team upcoming here at 3 o'clock. Eli, Jordan, thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for joining us live here at 2 o'clock, being a part of the chat, and joining us on Fox Local for Fox 5 News Live. We have more news headed your way at 3 o'clock with Tom Haynes, so stay tuned.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local on this Monday afternoon. I'm Tom Haynes with you live here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Got a lot of headlines to get to this hour, so sit tight as we cover a lot of ground here. We're going to start with some local headlines and a massive manhunt underway right now in Hall County for a man considered armed and dangerous. Deputies are searching for 45-year-old Antoine Thurman after investigators say that he ambushed and fatally shot his ex-girlfriend Tia Keith at an Oakwood convenience store last Thursday night. Surveillance cameras captured Thurman chasing and firing at Keith both outside and inside the store before stealing her car to escape. Police have since recovered that vehicle, but Thurman remains at large this afternoon. Investigators say 5'9" tall, has a prosthetic lower left leg, and has a distinctive neck tattoo reading Romans 12:19.
In a relationship that she was trying to exit from. I want to tell women out there who are in relationships and they're not healthy to get away. Remember her heart, the kind of person that she was, her sense of humor, that she was a sweet person.
If you spot her, if you spot the suspect, do not approach. You're asked to call 911 immediately. Let's turn to one of our top stories this afternoon, and that is a popular Black-owned restaurant facing a boycott this afternoon after hosting Republican gubernatorial candidate Rick Jackson. Now, both campaigns are weighing in on the heated backlash. Let's get out to Fox 5's Annie Mapp, who's standing by live. Annie, so this restaurant made this move. Turned out to be a controversial one to host the gubernatorial candidate. What's the aftermath here? What happened?
Hey Tom, good afternoon. Yes, Toast on Linux, which as you mentioned is a Black-owned business here in the Atlanta area. They have 2 locations, one in Midtown, also one in Buckhead. They are receiving a lot of messages, a lot of comments, people making reels on social media just saying that they are going to boycott the business after this now viral photo was posted online last week of Republican gubernatorial candidate Rick Jackson at the restaurant. In that post, he is standing at the Buckhead location next to one of the owners, Tamara Young, and in that post he praises her for her success and also, you know, just talks about her having good food and for the good conversation that they had during that moment. As of now, it's unclear when exactly that picture was taken and when Jackson was at the restaurant, but this has sparked a lot of negativity for this Black-owned business, with some folks on the internet who are saying that she should have never allowed Rick Jackson to be there, that she shouldn't have posted a photo with him. Many feel that this is a slap in the face to the Black community, as Jackson has been very upfront about his stance with politics and on how he plans to be a Trump 2.0 and how he plans to follow a lot of President Donald Trump's same different leadership and also his plans. Again, in that post, Jackson praised the business owner. Some commenters, again, on social media are upset because they say Jackson has built his campaign in the image of President Donald Trump and has spoken against diversity programs. Now, we did mention how Toast on Linux is a popular restaurant here in the Atlanta area. It is also owned by Chef Virgil Harper. I was actually able to speak with him earlier today on the phone. He says that they are just in total shock at the messages that they have been receiving. They did post something on social media after this all went out, you know, saying that a post does not mean that they are in support of a candidate. He believes that you should be able to have conversations with people who may have different beliefs, and that does not mean that you are just in total support of what they stand about. Now, Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is running running for that governor position here in Georgia, also went on social media to speak about that viral photo. She warned other small businesses from allowing Rick Jackson to visit. Meanwhile, the Jackson campaign clapped back as well. They accused Bottoms of wanting to cancel small businesses based on who they let through the door. We have been speaking to people on both sides, Tom, and we'll have, what folks here in the Atlanta area who were frequenting this business think about it now. Again, some have told us that they plan to not go back, and others feel like the business should be allowed to allow anyone to come into the door and to have these different conversations.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to agree with the owner. I mean, you invite one in, you'll eventually probably invite the other in. These sort of restaurant stops among political candidates, they stop at diners, cafes to greet and mingle with voters. It's all part of the political process. And for candidates to reach voters firsthand in the places that they frequent. Doesn't mean that the establishment's endorsing one candidate or the other. And if they invited Keisha Lance Bottoms to go there as well, then I mean, it's my opinion, my judgment that the patrons should celebrate the fact that this restaurant wants to be a place of political dialogue back and forth and a place of healthy political debate. Let Keisha Lance Bottoms come in there, but for the Bottoms campaign to come out and say that establishments should cancel or mute opponents and not let them into their establishments, that's pretty interesting. I mean, given the fact that this is going to be a very well and hard-fought campaign on both sides. So is that restaurant moving forward with plans to invite Bottoms into their establishment, give her equal time to get her to talk to patrons there at Toast?
Yeah, and this is the thing, Tom. I spoke to the co-owner, the chef that I mentioned earlier, Chef Virgil Harper. He told me that they didn't even have anything set up for Rick Jackson to go to the restaurant. He explained to me that he had a friend who told him, it would be a group of them coming in, but he didn't know exactly who would be walking in the door that day. In fact, he wasn't even at the restaurant when this all went down. So he says this was all a shock to them. They had no idea that this would be posted the next day, I guess, on social media. Obviously, it went wild. They received a lot of negative feedback. They did ask the Rick Jackson campaign, if that could be removed. But at that point, it was just too late because social media had already ran with it. He hasn't said whether they will be planning now that this has happened to allow Keisha Lance Bottoms to come in and maybe have a conversation with her. Again, we don't know what that conversation was even about last week, but it has caused a lot of people here in Atlanta who do support the business to say that they aren't going to go back until they make this right. What does that look like? The business owner says they don't even know what to do at this point.
Yeah, but in the meantime, they're facing all this, backlash from their own clients and controversy as they try to perhaps give equal time to the opposing side, something that should be done in the interest of freedom of expression, freedom of ideas, engaging in the political process. I think it's a healthy thing to do, but perhaps the customers who frequent that establishment, aren't in agreement, and that's their right for sure. Annie Mapp, live for us in Buckhead this afternoon. Annie, thanks so much. Moving on here, an $11,000 reward being offered now as a multi-state manhunt intensifies for a woman. There she is, wanted for murder in Florida. Investigators across Florida, Georgia, and Alabama searching for 38-year-old Isabel Rose Johnson. Deputies say Johnson wanted in connection to the death of Jason Coulthart, whose body was found buried in a shallow grave in Freeport last month. 5 people have already been arrested for helping her evade law enforcement. Johnson is described as being 5 foot 3 inches tall, 120 pounds. Investigators believe she may have cut and dyed her hair since, and frequently uses aliases like Harley or Jessica. She has a floral tattoo on her left hand and another on her right ankle. So if you happen to spot her, be careful. Do not approach and call 911. Well, we have completed our World Cup festivities here in Atlanta and all over the country for that matter, both in Mexico and Canada. The two final teams have squared off with one another in New York. The 2026 World Cup now officially in the books. So let's recap everything now with our own correspondent, Ashley Dvorkin, standing by live. What a match yesterday. What a halftime. What a World Cup series, Ashley, when all is said and done. It went off without a hitch. It was such a celebratory time in this country for the past 6 weeks, and as a matter of fact, for the years leading up to this tournament. So what are people saying about not only the final game, but just the whole tournament as a whole?
Yes, there's so many great takeaways and highlights from this whole tournament as a whole. You're right. We were talking about this for years leading up, and now the 39 days have wrapped up on that 104th match, this expanded tournament of 48 teams. It really has been an incredible run, and I think that what a few of the takeaways are, one is the growth of the sport here, and the interest and the appreciation for it here, and also following the U.S. men's national team. I think a lot more people are going to be following that team and getting more invested as well. And now we can also look ahead to the Women's World Cup, which is next year in Brazil. So that is a big one. And also the international fans, the fans that were here, that were bonding, that were sharing various interests and their appreciation for things that while they were on their tour here in the U.S. And I think that that is going to be something that we all keep talking about. Not just the ranch dressing, which I know I brought up again, because we can't forget about that, but really just the way that everybody had such a great time together. And that's what I saw when I was out there at the stadiums, at the matches. I saw that in the fan zones, especially. One of my favorite memories is from Seattle. It was the first match that I got to attend, and that was U.S. and Australia, and I was in the fan zone. And all the fans, yes, they were shouting their support for their teams, but then they were also just having fun together. It was a big party.
Ashley, I want to mention the fact that we're looking at, as we talk to you, you and I are in what's called a 3-box, if you will. It's you, me, and live pictures of the festivities taking place in Madrid right now, of Spain's soccer team rolling through the streets there in an open-top bus, greeting what are tens of thousands of Spanish fans who have taken to the street, not only to commend the players, but to say thank you for an incredible and ultimately victorious run there at the World Cup. Argentina, not so fortunate, losing that final match. But you can just imagine, as we take a look at these live pictures, the throngs of people out there in Madrid, the celebrations happening over there as they welcome their team home.
Yes, and I was there as the celebration started at the match last night, so I can imagine how big it is. And it's their second World Cup win ever, and this 1-0, this win, it was incredible because you were watching that match and it just kept going extra time, and then that goal, and you could just feel the excitement in the stadium. So I'm sure the celebrations will definitely continue.
Ashley Dvorkin, Ashley from New York, where it all happened. Thanks. I want to stick with these live pictures if we can for a second, because they're pretty extraordinary to see. Thank you, Ashley. This celebration happening in Madrid, it's taking place live there right now, and it's just such a cool thing to witness and to be part of. After all, Fox was your official station for the World Cup series. Atlanta was one of the host cities for that match. Spain present here in our city as well. And now this is the culmination of a lot of work and effort on the part of that team and excitement. You saw the king and queen of Spain there in the stands in New York yesterday, watching their home country take on Argentina. These young men have so much ahead of them as they plot their way forward. Just Spain is one of the epicenters of football, as they call it over there. And so you can imagine, this has to probably be like a national holiday over there, even though it's coming up on 9 o'clock at night, Madrid time, over there in Spain, as this team, remember, it was just 24 hours ago that they were over here playing in this match. And now And now this scene as they roll through the streets of Madrid on their celebratory last lap. The coach, Luis de la Fuente, alongside the players out there, the Iberia aircraft that took them home yesterday to Madrid airport, all part of this sequence of events that have led up. They met the king and queen earlier at the palace today to get congratulatory handshakes and hugs from the royal family. So just an incredible scene playing out in the streets of Madrid as we take you live there as the team gets welcomed back. Turning back now to some local stories making headlines here in our own neck of the woods, because there are a lot to get to here. The Stockbridge City Council voting to strip Mayor Jaden Williams of his official privileges pending an independent investigation. What's happening there? Well, city leaders suspended his purchasing card, fuel privileges, municipal vehicle access, emphasizing the administrative action meant to protect city resources. There you see Kevin Stewart next to me on screen. Kevin is live there with more on what, Kevin, all led up to this decision.
The entire day, except for a brief period to try to talk to people in the community. But we've been out here for hours. The mayor had a deadline of noon today to hand in a lot of that information that you were talking about. His purchase card, his fuel card has been suspended, but apparently he does have still some city issued items, and he was supposed to turn that in by noon, but that has not happened. We just checked with the city to find out if those items have been turned in, but they have not. We've also asked what is outstanding, but we have not learned what they are waiting on. This is a really interesting story. It would be interesting any place, but one of the reasons why this is particularly interesting to a lot of people is because Mayor Williams was quite celebrated back in January, going back to November when he was elected, because he's only 22 years old. He is the youngest mayor in the city's history, only 22 years old, a graduate of Clark Atlanta University, a political science major. He was someone who was involved in his community and decided to get involved and to elected politics, and was elected to serve as mayor of his community. In a statement, Stockbridge has said that it is business as usual, and something to keep in mind, of course, if you're familiar, city management style of government like you have here in Stockbridge, the city manager is the one who runs the city with the city council. The mayor does not run the city as, say, like you have, say, in a large city like Atlanta. So they maintain it's business as usual here. So we're waiting to find out when the mayor will bring in the items here to the city as he has been directed. He's obviously late. That deadline was noon today. And we're trying to find out what this is all about. We do have a request, open records request into the city to find out, to get a little bit more specific about what is the genesis of this. The statement that the city did put out said that in a short that he's innocent until proven guilty. This doesn't mean that because they've taken this action, which is mandated by the city charter, that it means he's guilty, which would seem to go without saying, but that was something important that they did put out in that statement. Tom?
Yeah, because you raise a good point, Kevin, and that is, I guess some of the original accusations are that he misused city money some way, somehow, but the details, the specifics of what this mayor is accused of are far and few between at this point. Who will be more forthcoming? Is it council there, or city law enforcement? Like, when are we going to sort of glean more information?
They're not talking.
Yeah.
They're not talking. And in short, they're saying to protect the investigation. They don't want to get ahead of themselves and start doing a whole lot of talking on this. We do know a second organization, an outside organization, is doing the investigation. And I want to say something, Tom. You said that there was alleged financial misdoing. That is a good guess, considering how this is transpired, but we don't know. What we do know is there was a tip to the finance department, a tip to the city manager, a tip to the city attorney. When you see that the finance department is involved in this, you would think that has something to do with it, but truth be told, we really don't know.
You would think that since it concerns a publicly elected official, in the interest of transparency and sunlight, and the responsibility and accountability to voters, taxpayers, constituents, that the people who are running this investigation would be a little more forthcoming about what it's all about. Maybe there's some things that need to be kept under wraps for now, but people deserve, I feel, at least in my judgment, more answers than we're getting.
Yeah, there's always a fine line with that as journalists. And you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. This is kind of standard operation. Usually you'll get some type of a tip that may give you an idea of what's going on. We don't have that at this time. So that's why we're going through the channels that are provided by state law to put in an open records request to see if we can glean more from any documents that have been exchanged to get a better sense of what's going on. Because people, quite honestly, whether the mayor is guilty or not, people want to know, because you talk to people. We've had a chance to talk to people. Some people are saying, hey, they don't trust government, and other people are saying they're out to get the mayor. So to kind of get a sense of, hey, what's what, it would help to get a better sense of what is going on. But once again, we're standing out here waiting for the mayor or a representative for the mayor to come in and bring those items back here to City Hall, as he has been mandated. His deadline was noon, Tom.
So, Kevin, real quick before I let you go, so he hasn't spoken either, right? He hasn't felt compelled to come out and speak to you, somebody like you, who's a responsible journalist and is just trying to get some answers to explain what's happening, or at least to defend himself.
Yeah, we've emailed. We've emailed. I know our team has emailed as well, and so we are waiting to, we want both sides of the story. And so we're hoping that he is comfortable to share what is going on. We assume that he has an idea of what this is about. Certainly, you would hope he would.
All right. Well, if anyone can get answers, it's you. Kevin Stewart live on top of the investigation for us in Stockbridge. Kevin, thanks so much. As we continue, it is the beginning of the work week. We've started it out on a hot note outside. No rain to speak of necessarily, but meteorologist Alex Forbes is going to tell us whether this pattern that we're in right now is going to last through the rest of the work week, and if there are any changes in store as we continue. Hey, everybody, welcome back to this Monday edition of the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Tom Haynes, joined by meteorologist Alex Forbes, who's been watching sort of the kickoff, Alex, to our work week. And one thing I think everybody's noticing out there today is the heat is kind of back in full force because we have like full sunshine out there and not a lot of clouds to cover it up.
Oh, and I feel like the humidity, just, I don't know what it was today, it's just next level. I was saying earlier on Good Day today, believe it or not, July 20th, it took me this long to take off my jacket going out on the weather day.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. And those heat index values remain high right now. It feels like 99 in Atlanta, 100 in Covington, 100 in Eatonton and in Athens, 93 in Blairsville, 95 over in Gainesville at this hour. Of course, you got to take a couple of those degrees off to get the actual air temperature. The reason why we show you the heat index, though, is because that's the impact on your body. Now, look at this. We've got very few showers, not even storms out there across the metro area. Mostly dry today. Only one small shower there outside of Blairsville, south of Hiawassee. A couple across the mountain counties at this hour. Some more over into northwest Georgia, but even those are lighter. And then you go down here on the south side, looking at one little heavy shower over West Point Lake. Took another one there in the Jackson area, but still not a ton of them, and whatever we do have is isolated. So going partly cloudy to mostly clear this evening as temperatures fall from close to 90 down into the 80s before all is said and done. The big story in the weather world is this: Tropical Depression 2, winds at 35 miles an hour, moving towards the northwest at about 3. You can walk faster than that, in case you're curious. Look at this over the next couple of days, though. It is expected to become, well, really the next couple of hours, a tropical storm. And the expectation is, let's zoom down in here, right? The cone tracks the center. It's going to stay in the cone about 80% of the time, the center that is. And there are two very different solutions here. So if you can kind of see my mouse, you see where the icons are. That's the forecast. If it goes any further north, right, say it makes landfall near Lake Pontchartrain or near Gulfport, Mississippi, it's going to remain a weaker storm. Down here, may be able to get up to 50 miles an hour before all is said and done. But if it goes any further south, meaning the center does not come ashore near Plaquemines Parish, like this indicates, then it would be able to gain some steam and head towards Texas. So if you're watching from the Houston area, right, not looking at an impactful storm there no matter what, but down south, Victoria, Corpus Christi, it's something where threading the needle about 10, 20 miles can make the world of difference in terms of impacts for you. Tropical watches and warnings are asleep for whatever reason, but there is a tropical storm watch from Apalachicola over to New Orleans. No impacts expected in metro Atlanta or North Georgia. Flooding will be the biggest concern down along the coast. Not a big concern, but the biggest. And the interaction with the coastline here over the next couple of days, that's really going to determine what happens with Texas. As for us here in North Georgia, there's your Fox 5 Storm Team's 7-day forecast. Increasing rain chances compared to today and tomorrow. By the time we get towards the middle to end of the week, up to 60% Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, but it looks like we get at least a little break from the heat toward the end of the work weekend and the beginning of the weekend.
And to me, it's all relative, right? Like 90 versus 86, it feels a little different, but I mean, hot is hot, right? It's still going to feel like the 90s.
We'll take what we can get,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
All right.
Especially late July and August. Remember, this is the time of year we could easily be 100 plus. We're not doing that.
And even into September. I mean, summer kind of stretches all the way in.
Yeah. People's perceptions are kind of misleading because school starts so early here.
And you're feeling like it should be fall.
Right.
And
but August is a summertime month through and through here. It is not a fall month.
And we really don't break, if you will, until the first couple weeks in October, really.
Yeah, October's the bigger transitional month for us because, right, like September's cooler, but it's not a fall month either. October, so when you look at the average temperature from September 1st to September 30th, there's a little bit of change. From October 1st to October 31st, there's a lot of change.
Yeah, well, we'll take any break we can get, and it looks like kind of Friday into Saturday, weekend looking, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
typical summer weekend,
summertime stuff. Don't go canceling your plans.
All right, Alex, thanks so much. Want to talk about a chase, pretty interesting one at that. Take a look at this video, if you will. A wanted drug suspect is on the run, and this is the conclusion. This is in Fulton County, following a dramatic chase that ended with his car landing right on top of a police cruiser. Sandy Springs Police federal agents tried to box in Jorge Luis Delgado Bermudez near Colquitt Road last Friday. Officials said that the suspect took off, hit a concrete barrier, and then launched the rear end of his vehicle directly onto a patrol car. Delgado Bermudez tried to run on foot but was quickly arrested. He faces multiple drug charges in Fulton County and federal charges linked to a larger criminal organization. Thankfully, nobody was injured. We have a pretty crazy story to tell you about this afternoon. A double dose, if you will, of some morning chaos down in Peachtree City after not one, but 2 deer crashed through separate shop windows in the exact same shopping center. Surveillance cameras capturing all this, the animal shattering glass at a Big Daddy's in a nearby spa before running wild inside. And our Doug Evans has the blow-by-blow of exactly what happened. Pretty incredible stuff, and pretty incredible was all captured on camera, Doug.
Yeah, just hearing about that chase in Fulton County, doing a chase story without me, Tom. I don't know how I feel about that. How dare you? But let's talk about this deer in Peachtree City, because it was also captured on camera, and it's pretty incredible. Over at Big Daddy's this morning, they tell me that the deer crashed first through a plate glass window, hit a vending machine, bounced back outside. You'd think it'd be over with then, right? The deer would trot off, go on its way. No, it comes back moments later, crashes through a doorway, not just crashes through it, Tom, hurdles through it, because it then bounded over a pool table and then underneath another pool table, ended up in the back office where there's a bathroom, drank from the toilet, took a little break, came back out, and then the buck went amok through the restaurant, knocking over tables and chairs and everything else, until they shooed it outside, and then it ran down a second-floor landing, down some steps, and into the woods. And as Tom said, this was not the first deer encounter for that shopping center. In fact, simultaneously, I'm talking like a half a second apart, another deer crashes through a business just 2 doors down. This is J Massage, where this deer crashes through a window, runs to the back of that business, into a bathroom. Well, the bathroom door closes behind it, and the folks at J Massage, they come into work, and their windows all busted. There's blood, there's glass, everything's just crazy, and they hear noise in the bathroom, so they go to the back of the business, and they open up the bathroom door, and surprise, this big buck comes running at them and runs out the door. So some pretty wild stuff. Happened in the morning. Both businesses were just opening up, so no clients, no Betty Eaton restaurant. They don't serve breakfast at Big Daddy's. I understand they've got some pretty good food. And so nobody was hurt, and that's the good news. But it is crazy, just absolutely crazy, that these 2 deer running together both smashed through windows. And apparently, Tom, they must have been spooked by something. We did talk to the manager at Big Daddy's. Let's hear what she has to say about all this.
Sean and I, my manager, were in the office, and all we heard was crash. All we heard was glass. He goes running out of the office. I look up in the cameras, and it's a deer. I didn't know if it was in our little daddy section or the pool hall. He was in the pool hall. So I'm screaming to Sean, open all the doors, open all the doors. And here comes that deer running. Goes into my bathroom in the office. Got him a drink of water because there's blood everywhere. And finally we coaxed him out this door right here. And then he goes running, goes out the sidewalk here, goes down the stairs. I ain't never seen so much blood. Poor little old deer. Well, poor little old us.
When you looked at that video, was it worse in person than on the video?
Oh yeah, I would say I was a little more scared because I kept getting behind the chairs, or it wouldn't come at me. All I could think of is, oh, don't attack me, you know.
But you opened the door for him, and that did the trick.
And I stood behind the door. And he was like that close to me. I could see all his blood and his little antler hanging, plus his heart.
Yeah.
But
okay,
cost us a lot of money, but it's okay. Thank God it happened, like you said, before we opened.
Well, yeah, you're used to dealing with a few unruly customers every now and then, aren't you?
Yeah, but that's late night. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so they have the occasional unruly customer at Big Daddy's, and they deal with it just like they dealt with the deer, Tom.
Incredible. Not only the video, the circumstances surrounding this, the fact that, as you say, not one but 2 in the same little strip mall there. And I was looking at these deer and wondering, because it takes a lot of force for anyone or anything to smash a glass pane window like that. They're pretty sturdy glass there. And this deer, and then I noticed the antlers on the deer's head, which probably, no doubt, sort of helped it make that initial shatter. But you wonder, like, you try to wrap your mind around, like, what does this deer see in front of it that is causing it to smash through this window and into this restaurant? And it charges into the window, by the way, because we're playing this video over and over again, and it just, like, I mean, poor deer, the thing is terrorized, flailing around on the ground under the pool table, not knowing where the hell it is, slipping and sliding all over the floor. Your heart goes out to the deer. These poor people inside didn't know what the hell happened, if it was a car or somebody breaking in, but this is crazy, Doug.
Yeah, no, I've done some reading about it, and Tom, they say that white-tailed deer can run at speeds of 35 to 40 miles an hour. I don't think you and I, at our best effort, are going to smash through that plate glass window, but maybe something traveling as fast as 40 miles an hour could do it. Paid the price. She said it broke the antlers. There's blood everywhere, may have even fractured a leg. We don't know about the deer over at J Massage, how it ended up or where it went to. I do have a video clip of it hitting the business that will play on Fox 5 News later this evening. But I understand this about deer, and I'm no deer expert, you know, but I've done some reading. Apparently, deer have really good peripheral vision, not great straight-on vision, and when it comes to glass, they see the reflection and they don't really see it as a barrier. Right? They look through it, and they see nothing that's going to, impede them. So they crash right through it, and probably much to their surprise, right? And just adds to that shock and panic. And I think there was some panic going on before they did this. Maybe something had spooked them in that parking lot. That's a busy street out there. That's State Road 54 in Peachtree City. Very, very busy at all hours of the day. So there might have been a horn that honked at them or something like that.
Yeah, spooked them.
Got them running, got them scared, and went crashing in to the business there.
Well, incredible. We'll hope the deer are out there recovering from what looked like a traumatic experience for them and the business owners. Just luckily nobody was hurt or anything else happened out there. Just got away with some incredible video from the whole thing. Doug Evans and the good-natured manager or owner of that Big Daddy's who spoke to you. Doug, thanks. As we continue, a lot more still to get to this afternoon. We sent our Chris Rosenthal out to a great event, if you will. Times are tough. Food's getting super expensive, and one of the groups that's finding it especially challenging are our senior citizens. Well, he's live at an event that's trying to help out with just that as we continue. Welcome back to this Monday edition of the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes. Appreciate you streaming with us. If you're on our free mobile app, Fox Local, on your mobile device, glad you're here on one of our social media channels at Fox 5 Atlanta, or at home watching on one of your live channels, or if you're out and about around town on the radio with us at 107.9 HD2 FM. Certainly glad you're listening to us this afternoon. You know, we all know the cost of living is pretty crazy right now, and for seniors, that is certainly no exception. To help fill a growing need, the Omega Support Center is hosting its monthly senior food distribution today in Tucker, and it's providing hundreds of boxes of fresh food and essential supplies. So our Chris Rosenthal is there with a look at the effort to help our local seniors in need. Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like you said, Tom, seniors are some of the hardest hit in some of these inflation times. Costs are up, and when you have a fixed income, and of course, you know, in many cases, medicine costs, food is often the thing that gets cut back, and that's why Omega Support Center, a nonprofit, actually for about 3 years now, has been providing this service, this food distribution event. And you can see some of these boxes here behind me. This actually have been much larger pile of boxes. They started the day with, and they have gone through them. You know, very telling. This pile right here, it was about as tall as me earlier today, and I think that really shows you the need here for this food for seniors. And I have Christy Bloodworth with the Omega Support Center. She's the executive director. And tell me about that need that you're finding here in the community for seniors.
Well, our monthly food distribution, which is for the seniors on the third Monday of every month, and this is a supplemental program offered through, it's a federally supplemental program. The need is great. Right now we do 213 every month for the boxes, but we serve in total probably about 300 seniors on this day, because we have other products in produce, bread, and meat that's available as well. So we have other clients that come through, and they're waiting on the list for us to be able to distribute it to them.
Yeah, it's people are able to come up here and drive through, but also you guys are also bringing it to people as well.
We do. We service 5 senior complexes, independent senior complexes right here in DeKalb County. We take about 115 boxes amongst all 5 of them. So we deliver to those. And then every Monday, we also deliver baked goods and bread and meat and dairy and produce and stuff to them as well.
How long will one of these boxes last?
How long will they last? Yeah. Well, everything inside the boxes are canned. It's canned vegetables, canned fruit, and then, of course, you have beans, pasta, protein, either peanut butter, tuna fish, or salmon of that. So, you know, it's a supplemental program, your staples, and, you know, it's really meant for backup, so it probably lasts maybe all month. I don't know.
It depends on everybody's a little bit different on how much they go
Everybody's
through.
a little bit different.
And you know, for people watching this, I know this is a registration thing, so everybody knows. So it's something you have to register for, not just show up. But and you guys fully register. But if people want to take advantage, how can they do so?
If you're interested, you have to be 60 and above, reside in DeKalb County for our agency to serve you. So you can contact us at 678-615-2390, or you can reach us on our website, which is omegasupportcenter.org.
Maybe you're not in need, but you want to help out. You want to donate or give to the cause. How can people help?
Absolutely. We're always looking to increase our food outreach. If you'd like to be a donor or a sponsor, you can, same thing, contact us on our website, omegasupportcenter.org. You can contact us through an email, or you can make a donation directly online, because every little bit helps.
Gotcha. Christy Bloodworth, thanks for joining us. Yeah, there was a very big turnout here. It looks like you're kind of wrapping it up a little bit here for the day, but yeah, definitely filling a big need here every single month with these food boxes, pretty heavy food boxes actually, full of lots of great items as you heard Christy describing earlier.
Yeah, Chris, how was the turnout there all day today? Because I presume that the demand was pretty high.
Yeah, it was a pretty big turnout. I mean, about an hour ago, they had the cars, wrapped around. Probably, any given moment, you'd see maybe, 5 or 6 cars here. It's a number they can plan on because, like she said, it's a, it's a registered thing. So you do have to register to be on this, and they feed about over 200 or so seniors receiving these today. So. Definitely quite a big turnout for sure.
Always an extraordinary effort on the part of the Atlanta Community Food Bank, who reaches so many people, not just seniors, but so many in our community during times of just high expenses out there and great need. And it's nice to see that they were able to successfully get the word out to get people in there to pick up food that is very, very necessary for our local seniors. Chris Rosenthal live for us this afternoon. Chris, appreciate it. As we move on here, we want to talk about some news up in New York, and that is officials arresting a man. They have him in custody after he allegedly lit an incendiary device outside a federal building in Lower Manhattan early this morning. So this is news that just broke today. Police said that the suspect stood in front of 26 Federal Plaza, which houses an immigration court and ICE offices, and ignited fireworks and set off a small fire. Authorities say he was also armed with a pellet gun and threatened people in the area before officers apprehended him. Police are investigating the incident as an anti-government attack after finding anti-ICE messages at the scene. Let's listen to what authorities said about the arrest.
As you may or may not be aware, around 9 o'clock this morning, a man with an incendiary device and some liquid, I don't know what the liquid was, put the liquid down, set some fireworks on top of it. It caused a little bit of a little fire. He was armed with a pellet gun.
Talking about it right
2 people were injured, 1 federal employee and 1 civilian. Minor injuries. They are both treated and released. And at this time, our Joint Terrorism Task Force is investigating this as an anti-government attack on a federal facility.
Officials say there's no indication of a broader threat to the public at this time, but that man is in custody. 10 people in critical condition this afternoon after an overnight mass shooting, an officer-involved shooting in downtown Tucson. Police say officers patrolling Congress Street about 2 a.m. heard the gunfire in a crowded entertainment district after a fight broke out between 2 groups. 9 people were shot before officers confronted a fleeing suspect, firing at least 1 round and then taking him into custody. The suspect and all 9 victims were rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Outside, investigators have taken over the inquiry into the shooting and the officers' actions. A pilot is now investigators working to figure out what caused him to crash into a home near Fulshear, Texas this morning. The Fulshear Simonton Fire Department released this photo showing that yellow single-engine plane propped up against the roof and backyard of a home on Kitty Hawk Street. Imagine the coincidence there. Officials say that the pilot was attempting to land at a nearby airstrip when that crash happened. The pilot was the only person on board and was taken to the hospital with injuries. They said that he was lucky to be alive after that harrowing crash and that nobody was hurt inside that house. Coming up here, a local all-female BB gun team bringing home a major national title, something our Eli Jordan is going to talk to us about here live when we come back. Stay with us. You are streaming live with us here on Fox Local for the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm your host, Tom Haynes. So happy you're with us this afternoon. Got a really cool story to tell you about today. It's about a local all-female BB gun team that brought home a major national title. The Walton County 4-H team just dominated the Daisy National Championship in Arkansas, setting a new record score to take first place. Who better to tell us all about this than our own Eli Jordan, who's live with us this afternoon. I never even knew such a team or competition existed. Eli, tell us more about it.
Neither did I, and hopefully my phone will not overheat out here. But yeah, I've been hanging out here at the Walton County Agricultural Center and with the Walton County 4-H BB team, and I got a little video inside the green building there. That's where the shooting range is. We can take that video and check it out. But I was in there, and a 5-girl team went up to Rogers, Arkansas to compete in the Daisy National BB Gun Championship. And we had Madison, Aubrey, Violet, Freya, and Olivia shooting, and they beat 51 other teams to bring home the big trophy. But they also, scored a record perfect on the safety test. No one's ever done that, and except this team. And they got back that last Monday. Actually, they competed Monday on the 20th. Sorry, today's the 20th. On the 13th, and they won it all. They weren't really expected to do it, but they put in a lot of work. And I spoke to Madison and one of their coaches, Adam, and here's what they had to say. What's it like being on the team?
It's very supportive all around with everybody, and it's very fun just because it's kind of a sport not a lot of people know about, and so it kind of just opens up a lot of opportunities that you didn't know were ever there.
What was that like to win it all?
It was kind of crazy in the moment, and it took me a while to comprehend it, but we knew as they were calling out all the other teams, and they finally got down to first place, and we knew our name was about to get called. We all just couldn't wait to get to go up there and just be proud of ourselves.
These girls have put in hundreds, probably thousands of hours of shooting and practicing and studying for the safety test, which is a big one. But to hit that little tiny hole from 5 meters out, it takes incredible discipline, incredible focus. They become my kids just like my own kids are. That's the reason I do it. It's not about the medals, it's not about the guns, which are great, but we really do become a family, and I'm just as proud of them as I am my 2 kids that came through this program. We become a big family, and that's really the reason why we do it. It's for the kids.
And they'll remember this their entire lives too.
Oh, sure. Yes, sir, and so will I. So
it's really cool. I mean, everybody, the coach is super proud of him. Like you said, he'll remember this his entire life, and especially those kids will remember this. But also, too, what's really cool about this is the Walton County Sheriff had a clay pigeon shoot recently, and raised $30,000 for the 4-H shooting club, and split it 3 ways between the archery team, the air rifle team, and the BB team. And so that paid for the Walton County 4-H BB team to go up to Arkansas and compete in this competition. So it's all, a cooperative here in Walton County with the 4-H club, and, sending these kids off to, compete in something they've never done. And also 4 girls winning the BB gun competition. I'm kind of jealous because I used to shoot a BB gun a whole lot and thought I was really good when I was a kid, but I never did go to a competition and win anything like this. And I'm impressed, and we all should be impressed with these girls here in Walton County winning the Daisy National BB gun competition. Tom?
Yeah, I love that this kind of thing even exists. Teaching young girls about marksmanship, using a rifle, and hopefully chances are that they'll move on from the BB gun and learn other skills as a marksman and learn how to responsibly handle these weapons. Just a really cool.
Well, this is the introduction, the BB gun, and it teaches them, it's a little bit safer than an actual firearm, but they learn how to, to properly hold it, not point it at other people, because we inadvertently, you can inadvertently, inexperienced, point it at other people, but no, none of that. And they learn all this, and so it'll help put them on a nice path as they get older.
What a great time, a great summertime activity, and a great sport and competition to highlight. Eli Jordan live for us with the 4-H BB gun team winning the national championship. Eli, thanks. And thank you for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. Been so great to have you today. I'm Tom Haynes, live here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Have a great rest of your afternoon. If you want more news, don't go anywhere, because the 4 p.m. hour starts right here, right now.